We're asleep down at the other end of the apartment at the time, so we don't know what it is.
What device is this?
This was called this particular device is called a REM pod, and what it's designed to do is it works off. It's an antenna-based device where it builds its own. It creates its own electromagnetic field around it, generally a small field. And what it is designed to do is it's designed to detect proximity disruptions to its own EMF field.
Yep.
And it's also designed to detect temperature anomalies. But those temperature anomalies have to be greater than 5 degrees Celsius, up or down.
Okay.
Right? So then generally it's environmental, and you're able to, once you make those detections, those alone don't mean anything, because what they're just leading you to try to eliminate what the source of that is. But we captured this particular device. Liz and I were in a place that's fantastic. If you ever get a chance to go, the Beck House in Penetanguishene.
Okay, yeah.
Amazing. Just if you like history in an old building with an interesting story, it's amazing.
Yeah.
But we stayed there. Rachel took me there for my birthday 2 years ago.
Last time was in November for her birthday. We took her there for her
We go there
birthday.
quite often.
Done a lot of mistakes in my life.
But we captured a weird, on the REM pod, it behaved abnormally.
Okay.
And I captured at a little after 2 o'clock in the morning, I captured 2 different 16-second bursts that sounded like Morse code, but it's not Morse code.
Okay.
I ended up doing a forensic analysis on it. So it's 16 seconds, this weird transmission that sounds like dots and dashes, a minute were nothing, and then 16 seconds of another transmission that's not identical, but structured identical.
Almost like a pattern.
Oh, it is a pattern.
Yeah.
So we were able to get numerically identical measurements of the short pulses and the long pulses, and the pulse lengths of the gaps between those pulses, which is like very similar to Morse code.
Yeah.
But this wasn't Morse. It behaves similarly, but it's not. So we don't know what it is. It's abnormal behavior for that device. But what I was able to determine is whatever we captured is not an internal structure of the device. It's not a malfunction of the device. So it captures something externally.
Yeah.
It's not Morse code. It's not an EMF, like electromagnetic field disruption.
Yeah.
Or a proximity disruption. It's a burst transmission. So then I conducted a spectrogram analysis of it, and I was able to determine, okay, it's got organized structure to it.
Yeah.
Doesn't tell you it's intelligent, doesn't tell you what the intent is, but it's organized structure. It's just not random noise.
Yeah.
And I was able to rule out and exclude like background noise, like HVAC systems, all that. It's not that. So then I went into a binary analysis, and I ran like a 5-bit, 7-bit, and 8-bit binary applications. 5-bit and 8-bit, there was nothing.
Yeah.
It's just gibberish. 7-bit is where it got really interesting, because we were between the two 16-second transmissions, we were able to identify about 3 dozen alphanumeric and symbolic structures.
What?
Yeah. So, and again, it doesn't tell us what it is. It's not forming, cogent. It's not a message that we can dissect, but it's something, and we don't know what it is, because how it presented itself on the REM pod. The REM pod should not have done that.
Yeah.
It doesn't behave that way. It's designed to to detect proximity disruptions and temperature.
Yeah.
That's it. That's all it does.
I wonder if you could put it into like the data points that you had, if you can put it into AI and maybe it can decode it somehow.
we are going to do that.
Yeah.
We're
Nice.
at some point, but the problem with that is AI builds in some pre-context already.
Yeah.
So it's looking for pattern, and if it finds something, it's going to assume that it's this or that, right? So that's going to be our last step, just to see, okay, could it be something? But right now we're going through more of a forensic analysis of it as well. So I've got a couple other, I posted it, and I've gotten some comments back that are saying, well, you want to jump down the rabbit hole, try these codes and that code. So that's our next step, and we'll see where it goes. But
gonna be a
we
deep
were expecting
rabbit
it to be
hole.
nothing, and the fact that
And lengthy, because of him.
Oh, it's it's
Oh
driving
my
her nuts,
God.
because I'm up till 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning trying to figure this out. It's a rabbit hole.
It's like,
Yeah.
turn the freaking light off. It's 4 in the morning, and he's still doing his
You're gonna
thing.
end up
But
in China.
But honestly, what's, like I said, it's not paranormal, but it is something.
Yeah.
And what that something is, it's almost as fascinating to me, because it's something that we've not been able to replicate or duplicate. We don't know what this is
Yeah.
or what its source is.
Okay.
it's fascinating.
Yeah, I think like when you get into this stuff, you might not realize it at the time, or you might, but you have to kind of have a tech knowledge, like a tech background. Do you have like that? So you kind of just had to learn this on the go.
I'm learning on the fly.
Learn it on the fly.
Yeah.
Like I could barely, program my remote control for TV. So
Well, the way that you're talking, you know your stuff, so that's pretty amazing.
well, I'm the kind of person that for me it's an analytical thing, right? Like I need to see process, and I need to see. I'm less impressed by the event and more fascinated by what led to the event.
Trying to debunk it almost in a way.
Oh,
and if you
absolutely.
can't, then what is this, right? You have to come at it from that mindset. It's not like, oh, there was a bump in the night. Okay, that's a ghost. No, like let's get the actual evidence.
Yeah.
What was it? What could it have been? And go from there, kind of thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's a fascinating, and
Yeah.
it's all because of her.
Yeah.
She took a chance on me 4 years ago.
So you
and-
said that you've been in this for 2 decades?
Yeah, 2004.
Wow. So you started, was it the Paranormal Seekers right away? Nice. And you're from, well, okay, let's start off with this, like a little intro.
Yeah.
So we started this podcast recently, like maybe like 6 months ago. And when we started this, I was like, okay, I want to interview people that I'm really interested in. And Pascal, my husband, and myself, we've always been interested in this. I'm like, I need to interview a local paranormal group. I'm like, please let there be one in the Durham region, please. And I found you guys. So thank you so much for coming onto the
Dude,
show.
we're not the only ones, and we have never been the only ones,
Yeah.
but we're the only ones that have been around for as long as we have.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I went on your website and I saw like some of like the places that you have been.
Yeah.
And you guys, it seems like you've been all around a lot of places in Ontario.
Yeah.
But I want to start by talking about the ones that you've been locally. So yeah.
Yeah.
So I saw that you've done, I think one of the biggest ones is the Whitby Courthouse.
Yeah.
So you guys did like an investigation there, right?
Yeah.
And how did that go?
You're making me dig all the way back to like 2000.
Oh, it was a while back? Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, that's kind of where a lot of people start, I guess.
It is.
right?
It
The
is.
Whitby
So,
Courthouse.
when you start your paranormal team and your group, you really focus on like where you are in your neighborhood, your area, and then you kind of expand once you get bigger. And that's what we did.
Yeah.
So we started off Parkwood Estate in Oshawa was our very first investigation ever. That was I shouldn't say it's a one and done, but at the time it was very, very big for us.
Yeah.
And no other group has been able to go in there since. Whitby Centennial was our next one.
Yeah.
Obviously, we've heard all of those like stories, like
So many urban legends.
There is,
and I don't know what's real and what's not.
it's true. It's true. Like there's the story of the man in the building who fell to his death when it was a courthouse. Then there is the story of the crying lady outside, and all that. So we did have some interesting like. A lot of it was psychic impressions at the time. We did have a psychic medium that was on our team, and she was kind of talking about the guy. His name was Jack, and he did fall to his death from the balcony. So if you go into the courthouse, like the theater area, that used to be the actual courthouse. The balcony was where people would sit to watch the proceedings, and I guess it was either he was the uncle or the son or something of the person who was on trial, and this person was found guilty and he rushed to the front. You notice the balcony,
It's higher up.
It's
like inclined, kind of.
well, it's not even that. It's just the railing is just like knee length. So if
Yes.
you're going full tilt and you fall, you're nose diving over.
Yeah.
So I guess that's what happened. And of course, he breaks his neck and everything. The crying lady was different because she's outside, and people in the neighborhood have always said they've heard like a wailing, crying lady. And we actually, the past like year or so, have finally figured out who she was.
Okay.
So we do have a name
Historical
and historical
reference.
records for
Okay.
her. Yeah.
And who was she?
So in 1909, a man by the name of Archibald McLaughlin, they lived in Uxbridge. So his wife, I think her name was Mary Elizabeth, and their 3 children, two sons and a daughter. And they lived up in Uxbridge, and he had a side piece.
As they did back then.
And he really wanted to be with his mistress and wanted to leave his wife. But in 1909, like, how do you do that without being an outcast in society? So his daughter was over at a neighbor's house, and he decided, today's a great day. So he went in and he fed his 2 sons and his wife poison, and then set the house on fire. Oh, my Lord. Killing all 3 of them. It didn't take them very long to figure out who did it, how he did it, and all that. So he was arrested, prosecuted at the Whitby jail, and then subsequently he was one of the 2 hangings that happened on the property and the gallows there.
Yes.
So with one of our team members, Allison, who has intuitive abilities, every time she would go to the courthouse theater, like to when she had to do work stuff, she would always pick up on this like crying woman, and this woman would just follow her around. So she would ask me these questions: would a woman ever be hung, or why would a woman be here that's crying and all that? And with a few bits of information, I found that out.
Interesting.
So we believe it's her, and she's still up. She was crying because she was being, I guess, ignored, forgotten. Her story was being told, and that's where her husband took his last breath.
Wow.
But I just recently found out that it took them 5 times to knock that gallows. I just found an article from 1910. So he was hung on July 13th, 1910.
Wow.
5 times that guy had to hit the hammer to
That's very rough.
knock it out.
What a way to go. Just get the guillotine at that point.
Yeah, literally. Yeah, I know.
Yeah, that's the Whitby Centennial. So I went to elementary school at RA Senate, and our bus route always brought us back past there. So I guess this was kindergarten, and we had bus buddies, right? And he, every time we passed it, he would say like this story. And I feel like it's a combination of those stories that you just told, where like somebody what he told me was somebody escaped from they were going to be hung, and then he fell off I think he said like a balcony, but like an outside balcony. Just totally wrong, right? Because he probably heard so many stories.
Telephone.
But yes, that's what it is, right? And I think that was probably my first introduction to the paranormal, to even knowing about ghosts, because I was so young, right? And I've been interested in it ever since. But I have never gone on an investigation. And I think I want to say you guys are brave, first of all.
I'm not.
No, he's not. I've almost been run over by him.
Oh, yeah.
From running away from like a scene, or
I could do things. I'm fine with things that are present and here, but this stuff I have no control. I'm a control freak, right? So we'll get into why that is in a little bit, but I'm a control freak.
Yeah,
and this I can't control. Right?
Yeah, for sure.
It's intimidating.
Yeah,
I've learned my lesson. Don't stand in doorways.
Don't. As someone's running out.
Literally, I just am
plowed
still
down.
standing there. I'm like, "Mom."
Just don't tell the stories about the noises at home when I send you.
Anything after you.
Any bump in the night, you have to go investigate?
Yes.
Nice.
He'll wake me up. Oh, I think there's something going on in the basement, or there's someone going to the back door.
Yeah.
Grab your bat.
Nice.
And he waits
wait
in
until
the
it's a real
bedroom.
person. Oh, God. It's like my husband.
Take the
Whenever
dog
there's a
with you.
spider, I always have to go kill it.
So do I.
Yeah, it's a thing.
Yeah.
That's funny. I think like going on these investigations, I think I'm more concerned with like getting an attachment, like something following me home.
Yes.
So do you guys like do anything to protect yourselves against that?
So my thing with that is everybody's different, and everybody's beliefs are different. And for that, everybody is entitled to do however they
do their own thing.
To do their own thing. We don't do one as a collective group.
Okay.
Even when we do public events, we don't do a collective one, because what works for one might not work for another, right?
Yeah.
Same thing with cleansing and clearing locations. We don't do that either because of that.
Yeah.
But like when I first started, I had native shaman symbols, protection symbols put on me, and I've never had an issue. So
Nice.
I don't even do anything. I just show up now.
The natives work. The native stuff
Yeah.
works. Good.
So that was pretty much for us. Attachment-wise, really, unless you're antagonizing or trying to like bully or provoke, they're not going to go anywhere.
Okay.
And that's something that this team does not do.
Yeah.
Like we don't engage in any kind of provocative or negative confrontational behavior. We're there strictly to observe what's taking place.
We want it as peaceful communication as possible.
Well, yeah, because we don't
without angering them.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Because part of the problem is the attachment
Yes.
effect, right?
Yeah.
I've never experienced that. I don't believe I have, but we have had team members that have had some really negative experiences after, and to the point where there's locations they just will not go back to. And we've gone to some pretty notorious locations that have some deeply disturbing histories. And documented histories too. Like it's not just the folklore. We're able to do. Rachel is a fantastic
Oh, she's the queen of
researcher. And
research.
like I mean,
amazing.
you wouldn't believe it looking at me. I'm a long-haired tattooed guy now, but I was a police officer for 30 years.
Nice.
Um,
Thank you
so
for
I-
your service.
Oh, thank you. So I have that investigative background. So when I retired, this is kind of what I was looking for. Was this piqued my curiosity,
Yeah.
and when I researched other paranormal investigative groups in the Southern Ontario area, it was Rachel's team that stood out hands down.
Yeah.
I was able to see and examine that, at that point, dozens and dozens and dozens of investigations that they had conducted. And I liked what they did, right? And this is a topic that interests me. It didn't always. I mean, I was a diehard skeptic. I still am very skeptical.
Yeah.
I think the vast majority of these experiences have conventional explanations, and we're able to determine that largely in pretty well almost all of the places we go to. But we have had instances where we've had those moments where like, okay, what the heck was that? Yeah. And we're left with more questions than answers,
Yeah.
right? So we try to go to these places more than once to have that effect, right? But Rachel, I mean, I've often joked with other team members and that I worked with a lot of seasoned investigators over the years, and she would have made one hell of a
Criminal investigator.
Oh yeah,
It's
absolutely.
I
phenomenal.
just say, just give me a name and a date or even some weird fact, and I'll find that person.
Oh, it's crazy. But it
You could
helps
do PI,
because-
private investigation.
Yeah.
You could.
yeah, but the reasoning behind that is sound, and what it is we're trying to accomplish is we're trying to take the known history that we can develop and compare that to the subjective experiences that are being reported to us. And then when we have that information, then we're trying to attend these locations and see if we have any experiences at all that may appear relevant to that known history and those other reported experiences. What we won't tell you is that, like I said, I use the word debunk. We're trying to find explanations other than the paranormal, right? Because that's a very difficult thing to assert. I personally don't think anybody is currently in a position to assert that it's paranormal because we just don't have the tools to do that at this point in time. But what we will tell you is that we went there, we tried to resolve these issues conventionally, and sometimes we're not able to. And sometimes we're not able to in a really weird way. And it leaves us really scratching our heads, right? So we're not going to assert that it's paranormal, but we are going to tell you that, yeah, you've got some stuff going on here that we can't
weird.
explain.
Yeah.
But as a group, when we conduct our private investigations, like we have some aha moments where we get very excited, right? Like it's,
Our last Wildwood trip.
Oh, let's hear it.
So Wildwood is in Salamanca, New York. It's been on a few. It's been on one TV show, like on network TV, but it's been on plenty of YouTube shows and channels. It's a old. So it started off as a holistic hospital. So it's a private hospital. You're talking 1909 is when it opened, and the two doctors that were there were osteopathic. So we're talking massage therapy and
kinda like
acupuncture.
chiropractor kind of stuff, yeah.
That kind of stuff. So they're it's brand new for the time. Private hospital. It treated pretty much everything that was considered a non-contagious disease. So mental health, addiction, depression, all that kind of stuff. And it had a bathhouse in the basement where they were like, you can have hot baths, cold baths, electric baths.
Electric.
Oh yeah, you stick your hands in there and they turn it on. You could have light therapy baths, which was just a new term for tanning bed, is really what it was. And then, so they would have that in the basement, and then the upper floors were like you could stay there and get help for your depression, massage therapy, all that kind of stuff. In 1923, with the tuberculosis outbreak that was happening, the state of New York literally looked at the two doctors and said, this is no longer an osteopathic, it's now a tuberculosis hospital. So it remained private, so if you had money, you could stay there. And it was a tuberculosis hospital for the few years until the vaccine came out and they eradicated it. Okay. And then after that, the doctors passed away. It turned into like a rooming house, like apartments, and then it fell in disrepair. The homeowners purchased it, the ones that own it now, and because so much activity has happened, they've opened it up to paranormal teams to go in and investigate. We've been there 4 times.
Nice.
We're
Or
going
at least
back.
I have, yeah.
Nice.
But-
That must mean you guys got a lot of good readings, a lot
well,
of activity.
the first time that we went was for my birthday.
Yeah. You guys have
and-
great birthdays.
Yeah.
I want a birthday like this. Oh my God.
But so we went for my birthday, and it was so funny because there were supposed to be 6 of us going all together.
Yeah.
And then one couldn't make it because she had to work, and we're like, okay, so we'll go. This one here decided to do Christmas lights in the dark and break his ankle.
I broke my ankle on the last strand of lights.
At midnight. Just doing
no.
Christmas lights
Like
at
a
midnight.
week, like what, 4 days before we're supposed to go. Like, so on the day of, we're heading down there. Like me, Jay, my other half, who's part of the team, and Kaz, who's a part of the team as well. We're already in the States. They're in Niagara. They don't get very far because he's like, yeah, my foot's hurting.
I can't even walk on
I
it.
can't do anything.
I got to go back.
So it
had to go home.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
So it ended up just being the 3 of us in this place we had never been to. I didn't even have time to do any type of like research other than what I could find from their website, and that drives me nuts because I need to know people.
Yeah.
Dead people. So we're walking into this place, and I got no idea what's going on. And from a leader point, like position, that's tough because I don't know what I'm getting my other teammates into. Right?
Yeah.
Like I don't want to be like, here you go, dead people that are going to, murder us in our sleep.
Yeah.
But so we show up, and it's just like the homeowners give us a little tour, so we kind of know where everything is. They leave, and it's just like crap just hits the fan. It was just like
Started right
nonstop.
away.
It just started right away. We're standing downstairs because it's like there's 2 floors above you and then a basement, and we're standing there, and we're like, who's walking upstairs? And we're like, nobody's upstairs. It's just the 3 of us, and we're like, oh my God, right?
It's a crazy location.
Yeah.
And like that night, they left me alone. This is the thing. I'm the type of person who's like, I'm tired, right? Like I'm done.
Yeah.
I'm out like a light. They left me upstairs, and I woke up and I was alone, and I was like, I don't know this place, and there's weird things happening, and oh my God. Meanwhile, they're 2 floors below me in the basement investigating because they went downstairs to go to the bathroom and they heard a noise, right? So that was that.
Are you in the doll room?
Beside it.
Oh.
Doll room? There's a doll
there's
room.
a-
there's a doll
We'll
room.
tell you
All
about the doll
these
Get to
places
that. We'll
have
get to
doll
that.
rooms, don't they?
So
Hundreds of
the
dolls.
second time we went, the
Was our
basement
first time.
was your first time,
Our
and
first
the
time.
basement definitely was not a happy place. It was quite interesting. The third time we went, that was
the weird.
That was your weird time.
Yeah.
That
well,
was.
hold on, because
Oh no.
we'll get into it, but I don't remember which time it was the dollhouse experience that
I think
recorded.
the second one.
Yeah, and then
'Cause
the
Allison-
third
they're
time
sleeping
was
on
the
floor.
thing that we'll get into that in a sec. But it's a crazy place.
Yeah.
The reason we were interested in Wildwood is it's a pretty well known hotspot for paranormal research and that. And again, I'm a skeptic and typical cop. I don't believe anything.
Yeah.
Right. So when I started watching some of these more, like a lot of them, I won't say their names, but a lot of the more popular teams that are on YouTube and some of the other social platform, I noticed that Wildwood in particular, there's some pretty outrageous things that they seem to be presenting as evidence, right? And the skeptic in me and I'm thinking, okay, this has been overly edited and exaggerated, and I get it. It's an entertainment thing, right?
Yeah.
So that was the interest. Like, let's go there and see what this place is. And we had experiences there that were akin to what we had seen on video.
So
And we
they were
can't
accurate representations.
yeah, and the
Yeah.
dollhouse or the doll room is a good example. What we learned later, one of our times there is, like Elizabeth said, there's hundreds of dolls in this room. It's creepy.
Why?
Yeah.
People
Why
would
are
just
they
bring
even
them because Kaz brought a couple and left them behind.
So, but this
So everyone's bringing dolls that probably have attachments
Oh, more
to
than
them.
likely.
So
Oh,
they're
yeah.
all gathered in this one room. Nice.
So this is where this goes. Is we came to learn after this particular incident I'm about to say happened. We came to learn that things happen negatively in that room if you remove the dolls or if you displace something. Okay. Well, it was Kaz.
No, it was me.
It was you. Whoa.
Secrets coming out.
That's betrayal. No.
I moved it.
So somebody moved a doll.
It was really creepy. It was like on a bicycle, and it was like a white face, wasn't it?
Yeah.
In black.
Oh,
but then
the little
the
Halloween
eyes were all
decoration. Yeah, the little
dug
Halloween
out.
decoration
So it
ones.
was just
man.
hollow black eyes, a white face, a creepy like stitched face
Yeah.
or
Oh.
something.
Well, if you want, if you go on to our YouTube, you'll see the videos of it. 'Cause
Yeah.
when
I'll
it
just
was
see.
there the first time, and it
It's
was turned
awful.
off, and it started going.
Sounds
and
like a
Kaz
Day of the
was-
Dead kind of like doll or something.
And
Oh
we
yeah,
sleep
and I
there.
got
It
punished
was a
for
spirit
it.
Halloween decoration,
Yeah.
is what it was.
We sleep there. We spend the whole night there. We sleep there.
Yeah.
So I'm like, if I'm sleeping in this room, I'm moving that doll. So I
Yeah.
moved it out of the room. Big mistake.
Big mistake,
he
and
will
I
get
paid the
into that
price
in a
for
minute.
it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he paid the price
Oh my
for
gosh.
it.
So how did you do that?
Well, so again, I like to document everything. So
Yeah.
we have cameras running. I had a digital. Liz and I slept in that room on a bed.
Yeah.
And I had a digital.
Yeah, but and
record-
I was like, what? Not even 10 feet from you.
You're on the air mattress.
You were on the
Yeah,
air
Jay.
mattress
On the
in
air
the,
mattress.
Yeah.
seance room. But anyway, I have the recorder going all night. Well, about 4:30 in the morning, I get yanked out of bed. I land on the floor about 5-6 feet away from the
Yeah.
bed.
No way.
I'm not even. I thought
I
I,
didn't
fell
hear
out of
anything.
bed.
This
but
doll
I-
was mad.
I land from the bed to basically where the camera is, a good 6 feet away.
Yeah.
And I kind of wake up and I utter, okay, now you've got my attention.
Yeah.
Well, I've captured that on my digital recorder where you hear this commotion and then you hear me say, okay, now you've got my attention. She's about 10 feet away doing the same thing with her recorders. Nothing.
Nothing.
And I
Doesn't
felt
capture
him
a thing.
slowly just slide out of the bed, and then I hear the
Yeah.
thud.
That's
on the
very
floor.
like
And
It was
he's
creepy.
in such a daze over it.
when you hear like it's
Yeah.
one thing to hear things and like you can see things, but it's kind of like almost like a violation to be touched.
Well, and it's
or
happened.
and to be pushed or picked up or anything like that. That's like
Totally.
it must really feel like in your soul. Kind of
It's
like,
unnerving because
Yeah.
it's happened now to me
You get it all the time.
a lot.
They pick on you.
Well, it's weird, right? Like my first
yeah.
investigation with these guys was the old Lindsay jail.
Okay.
I'm going to tell a story about Rosh.
Oh,
Rosh
yeah.
Terrio.
That wasn't your first. I think you came to Ameliasburg.
Oh, I did. You're
That
right.
was your
Okay, so it
first.
would have been one of the first.
Yeah, it
though.
would have been your second.
So, Lindsay Jail was a jail that opened in the late 1800s, and it was operated as a jail until 2003.
Okay.
So, the way jails work versus prisons is basically pre-trial, pre-conviction. You spend your time in a provincial jail. Post-conviction, if you're sentenced to 2 years or more, you're going to a federal institution. So we go and do this investigation. Jay and I are up in this in one of the cell ranges. There's about 4 or 5 ranges or cells per range, and we're using 3 different devices that don't work in conjunction with each other, and they're basically different apps, entertainment purposes. Again, I don't put a lot of weight into this. But all 3 of them are essentially designed to utilize a database of English words and phrases only.
I was just thinking that. I was thinking like this is what he's going to be talking about because I've seen it on TV and it is like entertainment purposes, like where they start stringing sentences together out of thin air. It's
Yeah,
like,
it's all.
Yeah.
So you don't hold a lot of stock in it. It's
Yeah.
just another tool to see what you might develop.
yeah.
So we're in this particular cell range, Jay and I, and all 3 devices, which are totally different applications, start, I thought, malfunctioning in the same fashion. They kept repeating the same words, Rosh, R-O-C-H, and Moise, M-O-I-S-E. Meant nothing to me.
Sounds like last names.
Well,
maybe.
so,
Yeah.
but they weren't behaving the way they're supposed to, right?
Okay.
So at the end of the night, I come out, we're putting our equipment away, and I approach Rachel. I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing wrong with these. I don't know if I broke them, but they're not working. They're saying Rosh and they're saying Moise. Well, the curator of the jail at the time overheard our conversation. He goes, I think I can help you with that. I'm like, okay, plug me in here. So she goes on to tell us a story of a Canadian cult leader who's now dead. He was murdered in prison in 2011 in New Brunswick. His name was Rosh Terrio,
Okay.
R-O-C-H. And in the 1970s, he had been excommunicated from his church, came to Ontario and founded a cult up in the Kawartha
River.
Lakes area,
Yeah,
Burnt River,
Okay, yeah.
called the Anthill Kids. And he did some really disturbing things to his members of his cult. He, in 1989, he gets arrested and convicted ultimately of his time or his crimes. But while he was on trial, he was housed in that jail. And here's the Moise part. Moise translates in French to Moses, which was the self-proclaimed moniker that he gave himself.
Way.
We didn't know any of that. I'd never heard of this guy.
Oh
So I went home that night, drove you nuts, because I stayed up
All
till
night
dawn
again.
the next day
Yeah.
researching who Rosh Terrio was.
Yeah.
But I'd never heard of this guy, right? So it was that experience kind of left us puzzled because we couldn't explain why these 3 different devices that work independently of one another behaved in a similar manner that appeared to be relevant to an individual that we can confirm was housed in the location where these things appeared to be malfunctioning.
Interesting.
Yeah, it was weird. So we can't debunk that. Now, is it possible all 3 devices malfunction and just happen to malfunction and produce French words?
There's no way. There's no way.
I don't know enough about the apps to make that assertion, but what I can say is they did not behave typically to where how they're programmed, and they just happened to misbehave in a way that was specifically
Well,
relevant.
I can say they come from the States, and there is nothing in the States that says that this equipment has to be bilingual.
Yeah.
French is not a U.S.
So
language.
those
if you wanna
machines are
call it.
pre-programmed with English words.
Yeah.
Not
So, like,
even French.
no.
And it somehow produced interesting.
3 different apps. They all work independently of one another, produce the same 2 French words over and over again while we were in that space that just happened to be occupied 35 years earlier by a guy who had those names. It was weird.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of, I don't know what they're called, the random number generators. That's what they're called. And so I know the story from 9/11. There's all these machines around the world, and during 9/11, they all started doing 010, that pattern, right? Because everyone in the world, we were all watching that happen, and our mind was all on that. So there's got to be something where, because like these machines are all thinking about this one thing, or they're picking up on something. I don't know.
Well, and see, I looked at it, and I went through this through a skeptical lens, and I'm like, okay, my belief is that those apps likely have the ability to interact with the microphone on the device that you're utilizing.
Okay.
So are they hearing the conversation, and then they're just generally randomizing
like the
words
phone
there?
apps.
Right.
Yeah.
But here's where I couldn't satisfy that conclusion is we didn't have any knowledge of who Rosh Terriel was until the end of the night after these events had taken place. We had no idea. So
I did, but
but we never had.
I didn't. I don't share that stuff with
No,
you guys.
so
I
there was
just
no
have it in my back
conversation
pocket.
about a Rosh.
And I wasn't even with you guys. I
No,
showed
that
up
was-
halfway through, and I was like, "What's going on?"
Yeah. So we were able to, I think, satisfy that, there wasn't a contamination of that information because we didn't have that information. So that takes off. If that is excluded, then how do you explain the devices malfunctioning in a specific way that are very relevant to an individual who's now deceased who happened to be housed there at one time? So it was a weird one.
That's a weird one, and when you have those weird ones, that's what it is. Like it adds up,
and it hooks you in, and this is why 22
becomes
years
addicted.
later, it
Yeah.
is an addiction. Because for me, it's not just experiencing the paranormal; it's linking the past to the present. So it's the research, right? Like I get a high off of researching dead people. Like that's what it is for me. Like just to find if I could spend all day looking up ancestry and connecting the dots and finding birth dates and death causes, I would be a happy person.
Yeah.
Instead, I'm stuck working a real job. But that's what I would like to do and be paid for it.
Yeah.
but it is an addiction.
And that kind of goes to like a deeper question too. So with knowing these, like the histories and seeing what's going on and trying to connect it to what's happening, what do you think it is? Like, I know that there's this theory. Okay, so there's the afterlife, and then there's this theory that these machines are picking up on almost like, I don't know how to describe it, like waves that are
An energy
like,
imprint?
An imprint. There we go.
Yeah.
So something that has been left over time because of the history.
So there's really an easy way to figure that out.
Yeah.
So a residual haunting is pretty much an energy imprint. So it's like the best way we describe it to people who can understand this, because a lot of people don't know what a VCR is anymore, or a
still have
VHS
one.
tape. It's because we're old. But it's like when you put that VHS tape in and you hit play and you watch the first 10 minutes and you stop it and then rewind it and then watch the same 10 minutes and then stop it and then rewind and keep going.
Yeah.
That is an energy imprint. That is residual haunting. Yeah. Residual hauntings don't really interact with the living or the present because that's the imprint in that time. So it just continues to play. Sometimes it interacts if you're kind of in the way, like say there's a ghost that walks back and forth. And if you get in the way and they walk
feel
around
it.
you, right? Yeah. It's not that it's conscious. It's just doing
playing on repeat.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
An intelligent haunting is when you have a ghost or spirit or energy that can manipulate the surroundings and interact with you. So it's moving things. It's, you know, you're getting clear communication or some type of communication. It's answering questions, or, you know, it's physically interacting with you in an attention-seeking way.
Yeah.
That's how you can tell the difference. Most of the hauntings we go to, I would say, are intelligent. With the occasional residual.
Well, I was going to say, like, a good example of the residual haunting that we've had is the one up in Bob Cajun, where it was the scene of a violent homicide in 1986.
You know your numbers. You know your years.
I know my history.
Yeah, and it was the scene of a very, very violent homicide that took place up there. And we've had the opportunity to investigate the scene where that took place on numerous occasions. And almost every time we continuously have the same experiences in there that seem to be playing out. And it is, exactly what you just said, it's like it's on a loop. And it's the same thing. We conduct public investigations up there, and it's always the same stuff. And again, we try to, when we do the public investigations, we generally, we try not to share too much information with the people that are there for the investigation. We want them to have, we want their experience to be organic, if any.
Yeah.
Right. And I know for me personally, I'll ask my group right off the bat the same question every time. All right, who's my skeptics? Who's my diehard believers? And who's in the middle? And tell me why. Right.
Yeah.
Can't take the cop out of me. I gotta ask everything. Right. And so I like to key in on the skeptics because I'm that. So when we're using some of the equipment we'll use, I'll hand it off to them, and I'll give a very basic explanation of the history, the historical aspect of the location, but that's it. Then you're off, and I want you to kind of play around with the equipment, and let's see what happens. Sometimes, a lot of times, nothing happens, but every now and then you get one that's really strange.
Yeah. And I usually, for these like locations, like we do a lot of public investigations at Pioneer Villages. And I will hit like booklets for each individual building that we go into out of the notes and the research that I've done. So they sit there. So if these guests of ours that come out for these investigations have questions, or maybe they feel something, or they pick up something, or they hear something on one of the pieces of equipment, they can go into this book and look. And it's not us telling them, it's them learning on their own, right?
Yeah.
Because I find there's nothing worse than when you do like a public event like this and you're thinking you're going on this investigation, and these teams literally just take you around and you stand there and watch them do it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like I would rather just be like, here's a piece of equipment, and then just sit back and be like, finally,
Yeah,
I can just
interactive.
relax, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So we let them, you know, and so it's not us kind of like showing them how it's done. It's letting them do
Involving
something
them.
that they probably wouldn't do on their own.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. So you guys do that often?
Oh,
Yeah.
yes.
Oh, we're gonna have to join in on one of those.
You know what? And the great thing about it,
And we
too,
do
is-
we do them here in Oshawa. The Oshawa
Yeah.
Museum, we do them.
Nice.
The great thing about those public investigations is we really do approach this from a historical perspective. Like Rachel is huge. That's her thing, is tell the story. So that's important for us. So we don't try to hype these things up. We let them flow organically, and there have been a number of occasions where, you know what, just nothing happens. It's just a cool old building with a really neat story, but nothing really happens. But it's those occasions where you get, okay, this is weird, right?
Yeah.
The grist mill.
Yeah. Oh, Jesus.
I'll
But
tell-
it's like we say, oh, we'll be here forever. Just because something doesn't happen that particular time doesn't mean something hasn't happened or won't be happening,
Yeah.
right? Like
Yeah.
we always say the ghosts and spirits aren't performing circus monkeys. Like you're not going
Yeah.
to go in there and be like, talk to the little red light and you're going to get something, right? Like we tell everyone, you know, if somebody came up to you and said, speak now, and you're going to be like,
Yeah.
right? If they don't want to talk, they don't want to talk.
Yeah. So
right?
it's like doing an investigation maybe a couple nights in a row to get
Yeah,
something out
exactly.
of the place.
And that's
right?
another
Yeah.
thing. Like, you know,
Yeah.
we haven't done it yet, but we plan that next time we go out to the States, we're going to be 2 nights at one location.
Might as well. You're already there.
Right? Yeah.
Well, we
So-
made the mistake last year of hitting
yeah.
2 notorious locations back to back, and by the time we got to the second location, we were
Which was
exhausted.
Wildwood,
Yeah.
Wildwood, ironically
yeah.
enough.
The first
right?
one was a place called Hinsdale House.
Okay.
I highly recommend you research Hinsdale House.
It's in New York.
It's
Yeah.
in New York. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
really close to Wildwood.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's a place that in 1974, there was a family residing there called the Dandy family. They had 4 children, 3 daughters and a son. And dad worked in Buffalo, so about an hour or so's drive. And for whatever reason, they were the family was experiencing all kinds of negative experiences, like really deeply disturbing, demonic activities. What they were
weird.
reporting. So
Yeah.
they sought the assistance of their local Catholic diocese.
Yeah.
And the Catholic Church came in and they conducted a structural exorcism on the
Oh,
property.
I
That's
love
documented.
hearing about those
It's
ones.
just-
Yeah,
those
that's
are the fun ones.
It
well
did
documented,
nothing.
and
Yeah.
it failed. By the church's records, they believe their efforts failed, and
Wow.
it just caused the activity for that family to increase dramatically. We've been there a few times.
Twice.
It's deeply that's a really
Disturbing.
bad place.
I've slept
Yeah.
both times.
So you can you can
She
feel
does.
the negative energy in there.
It's
basically.
palpable.
Oh, you can
Yeah.
feel there's something.
Yeah.
On the entire property. It's not just in the building.
It's also
And it catches people, right? Like
It does.
Jay's very sensitive
so,
to this
so
stuff.
the land the land that building is on is actually it's native land.
Yeah.
It's surrounded by the Appalachian
And that's
whatever you want to call.
that's a whole other story.
Exactly.
Yeah. That's
And there's a lot of like outside stuff that's they have puck wedgies and a lot of like elemental spirits and God knows what kind of cryptids they have out there, and it's just there's a lot of tales to the land, but the land way before, like we're talking like 1700s, like beaver wars, like we're talking about like the natives and stuff, like they massacred each other on that land, and it's not white man versus native. It was natives versus
a lot of people natives. forget about that.
Yeah, and they wiped out a whole tribe of natives, and so
It's a disturbing
what
place.
is out there, right? Like if that the land will hold that energy, right? So God knows what.
And it's weird how the building can affect you too, right? Because that again, the skeptic in me is the mind's very powerful, right? So if you already have a preconceived idea of what you think you're walking into, then you're going to likely subconsciously feel more things. You're going to be perceiving more than what might actually be going on, right? And that's that subjective experience, and, and that's part of it. And again, so that's one of those locations that's very notorious.
It's been on a bunch of TV
Yeah.
shows, like network TV shows.
Yeah, so we
There's
went.
always activity.
Yeah.
Each one is there.
Yeah, we've captured some weird stuff there, and unfortunately, it seems to affect the sensitives on our team more so. Everybody has a weird experience there, but like the last time we were there, Jay's very sensitive.
My
And
weird
tell the story.
experience was
I can't remember what time in the morning. You're asleep.
yeah, whatever. Always
She
asleep.
sleeps through everything.
I didn't sleep through the screaming the first time.
Oh, we'll get to that one.
No, leave that one alone.
I think it was like 4 in the morning. Everyone's trying to wind down for the night. Some of them are going to the other bedrooms. We're just in the family room, right?
Yeah.
And Jay this is her husband. He just gets up. He's very quiet. He's just not acting the same.
Yeah.
And he goes to the top of the stairs. He's just sitting there quietly. And then he goes to the basement. He sits there quietly. And then he goes into another bedroom, sits there quietly. And he's walking by me, but he looked very vacant. It wasn't Jay anymore in my eyes. And
Okay.
so I stayed up monitoring him because he was just acting weird. And then he said to me at one point, he goes, I think I want to stay.
Oh boy.
You knew that.
No, I didn't. But that's funny because when I went there the first time, I was like, "This is the cutest Airbnb ever." Meanwhile,
And then he slowly snapped out of it once we left the property.
But he was doing that for hours, wandering
Hours.
around.
It was so strange.
Has he done that anywhere else, or has it only been?
Not
I
like that.
kind of knew
Oh,
it to
not
the
like
roots,
that.
We
so
haven't
they
seen
would
that.
know that better than
so
me.
he's a wanderer, so he will just follow his nose and just go wherever
Yeah.
it takes
He was just
him,
wandering
right?
everywhere, but it was just I can't.
Well, the
explain it.
first time we went, we were like literally up all night, and luckily I slept. But
That
when
was
I
the one where I
driving-
had to get the hell out of there for whatever reason.
But we
That was our
couldn't
first
find
time.
we couldn't find him for a while, and it was because he had gone outside to the truck and pulled down our tailgate and just crashed in the back of the truck and went to sleep in the back
That's
of the
right, I forgot
tailgate.
about that.
And then we're like,
Interesting. So,
But it was the second
yeah.
one. He wanted to stay.
Yeah, it's a weird place. And
Some
it's
people
really
can
weird.
get affected like that.
Yeah.
Like I know Pascal and my husband, we were we were in Scotland and in Edinburgh, and you guys know about the tunnels that are under.
Yes.
So we were in those doing a ghost tour at night, and in one of the rooms, or chambers, whatever you call it, there's like this circle of rocks, a big circle, and the tour guide said that this is what a local Wiccans, they come down here and they protect the rocks, they guard it, and they say, do not go in here, right? So we all leave this room, and I look behind me, and my husband is no longer behind me. I'm like, what are you doing? Where are you? So I go back to that room, and what is he doing? He's blank, and he's standing in the middle of those rocks, or in the circle. I'm like, okay, this is not good. So I would go back, and I bring the group back. I'm like, this is what he's doing. He's just there. He's blank. And then eventually snapped out of it, came out. This was in 2019, just before the pandemic, and I always joke. I say he caused the pandemic, because the lady said if people go in here, bad things happen. I'm like, he caused the pandemic.
Wow.
But anyways, like that whole
He's shaking his head at you.
that whole like blank. I feel like some people can just go into like the zone,
Like a trance.
a
almost.
trance.
Yes.
Yeah. So
that's
that's what
Jay
he went
was
into.
like.
Yeah.
It was the most
Yeah.
peculiar thing I've ever seen.
It's
the
creepy.
and the interesting thing about that experience with Jay was very, very similar to two instances that we've seen with some of the larger teams, where generally this particular property, you don't feel good there. But there's two teams that I'm aware of that we've watched that one of the members have had that same experience, almost identical to how Jay behaved. So you wonder if, okay, is that a repeatable thing? Possibly, but when you're watching the behavior of the person and how much it changes is very, very different from what the norm is. Then you got to start to wonder, okay, how is the building affecting these people? But the other piece too which is really one of the reasons we don't provoke, we don't mess around with like goofy things like Ouija boards and stuff like that.
Unlike Zach Baggins.
We don't
from
do
Ghost
any of that.
Adventures.
No.
No, nothing like that.
No, we don't. I mean, I don't have enough knowledge about this whole spiritual realm to form an opinion one way or the other. But I'm cautious in the sense that I don't want to be messing with something.
Yeah.
If this does exist, I don't want to be messing with it in a way that's going to cause harm somewhere down the road.
Yeah.
But we're going into locations that hundreds of teams have explored as well, and many of them are behaving that way.
Using the Ouija.
Yeah,
and
so
all that.
what are they
And
bringing
a lot
with
of them
them?
are
Who
kids too. Like they're
Oh,
like
they don't have a clue what they're
way
doing.
younger
Yeah.
than us, right? So.
It's scary because we have had some places that you're just like, okay, and we'll debrief this as a team, right? And okay, how'd that go? What was that? Like
Yeah.
what?
And there are places like Wildwood and where we've been like a couple times, and even around here that we will come back to and investigate, and we'll be like, okay, wait a second, who's been in here because something is different.
Yes.
That was Beck
Right?
the last
So
time.
somebody
Yeah.
like opened up like
Somebody's
did
tried something.
Yeah.
Somebody's been ridiculous,
Pissed
and like,
off, whatever's
and that's a lot
there.
of the things. Is like these younger, who want to be YouTube stars will go
Yeah.
in there and they're looking for likes, so they're just gonna do whatever. They're gonna
Yeah.
make jokes. They're gonna poke fun. Like we do too, but there's
not like that.
There's a respect though.
yeah.
There's
It's
a
not like
respect,
it's not like we're just doing it like we're not jackass.
Well, that was absolutely the experience of Beck 3 months ago.
Yeah.
Like we've been to Beck several times, and it's always consistent, right, until this time. And basically, Beck House, it's great history to it. They have 2 suites on the 3rd floor, 301 and 302, that are open, like
It's Airbnb.
basically an
Oh, okay.
Airbnb. Yeah.
Yeah.
And they are reported to have activity, both of them. And we've experienced things there that we can't quite explain away. You had the mimic incident the first time we were there. That was bizarre.
So you heard like a voice that like somebody else was like pretending to be.
It was the morning. We're gathering to leave.
Yeah.
And it was Rachel, Ryan, and another member, Allison. I thought they were upstairs. I'm just in the bathroom. And then right beside the bathroom, is it the green room?
Yeah, that's a
It's the
weird
green
room.
Oh, we'll get into that one. And all of a sudden, I hear in Allison's tone, everything, hey, Liz. And I go, yeah. She's not
in there.
responding. So then I go out into the bedroom. She's not there. So then I text them. I said, where are you guys? He goes, oh, we're downstairs.
We're
waiting
outside.
We're outside
300
waiting for
yards
Tim
away
Hortons
at the
to show
road.
up.
No way.
I never ran so fast down those stairs
my
outside.
God.
It sounded just like Allison.
Yeah, it was a
Yeah.
weird one.
Yeah.
But our last time, like, it's never been uninviting, right?
Yeah.
Like, you feel pretty comfortable in that space, which, like, I love it. Like, I feel like I often joke, she took me there the first time, and I would live there. I find it amazing. I'm very comfortable there. But the last time we had 301 and 302 for the night for the team, and it was weird. The activity, the essence of both suites was really dark. We had a new team member. We do a process called the Estes method. Have you heard of what this is?
No, I haven't. No.
So what it is we take one person and we give them we try to do a sensory deprivation exercise.
Oh,
so we
okay,
put
yeah.
noise canceling earphones.
They put the headphones on.
And a blindfold.
Blindfold, yeah.
Yes, I've seen this.
So
yes,
we
on
take
TV.
it a step further in the sense that, like, oftentimes you watch that in the more popular teams.
Yeah.
Well, they're this close to each other, right? So I'm again skeptic. I'm thinking you're still hearing the conversation through those earphones. So we'll leave that person in one room, and we'll remove the rest of the people to a whole other location within where we're investigating, so we can minimize the chance of that contamination.
Oh, that person's brave.
Well, it sucks, but so Chantal's our newest and our youngest member, and she brought her husband up for this. This is the
So
first
he's
time
getting hazed.
Yeah.
Big time.
He was before he even got there. He's like, I'm bringing extra stuff to sleep in the car.
Yeah.
We're like,
really
okay.
did. Yeah.
He
No,
did.
they left. They left early.
They
But
did leave early,
originally,
though.
they
But
were going to
originally.
stay the
Yeah.
night.
They
right?
only left because their dog got sick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But so Chantel's in this bedroom. We referred to it as the green room because it was green at the time. And there was a lot of activity associated, reported to this room. So she's on the bed. She's doing the STs. And all she has is this device on that's randomly cycling through analog stereo FM stations.
Okay.
And it's going through very, very quickly. So the thought process is if you can hear something that you can interpret, just call out the words that you're hearing. Right?
Yeah.
You may not hear anything. Oftentimes that happens. It just cycles through its white noise. And we're out in another room. We're in the dining room with Phil and Elizabeth and I, and we have a couple of devices that are going, and we're asking our questions, and we're very quiet. Like, we're asking them like this.
Yeah.
Very, very quiet. She can't hear us 35 feet away. And we start getting really dark, demonic references on all of our devices out in the other room. At the same time, she's making references to demonic stuff.
Okay.
And then we're getting references to touching.
Okay.
She calls out, "Are you one?" At the same time, it was
Someone
on your
touching
device.
me.
At the same time, she calls out. She goes, "Is somebody in here touching my leg?" She has no idea what's taking place. So again, could it all be just chance, coincidence, some randomness? Sure, it could be. But when you take it collectively, it paints a little bit of a different picture, right? You're like,
Yeah.
okay, what is that? And it gets back to, we're not going to say what it is because I don't think we can assert that.
Yeah.
But it is weird, and we can't explain some of it.
Yeah.
And we share it.
And we share it.
Yeah, and when you feel those negative energies, and you think when you say the word demonic, what do you think you truly mean? Do you think you like
Well,
an actual
no.
or
So
okay.
in
everyone
the 20,
has different
yeah,
beliefs,
everyone,
right?
and it all has to come back to your beliefs and how you were
Yes.
brought up religiously or not religiously.
Yeah.
In the 22 years I have been doing this, I have yet to come across a demon.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right? Have I come across negative? Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And like I tell everyone, in life, you have negative people and you have positive people.
Yeah.
And really, if you're a negative person all your life, when you die, it's just not going to change. It's just who you are. Negative spirit-wise, that can be changed because sometimes they're negative because their stories aren't being told right.
Yeah.
Something's missing. They're not being
They
remembered.
need some sort of closure.
They're not being
Yeah.
remembered.
Yeah.
They're not. Their name is being said wrong. Like it's just like these little things. And if you can find out what those are, you can change it.
You can help them.
Exactly. And you know, we always like to say Hollywood has done a wonderful job at telling everybody that ghosts are out to get you, and that ghosts are bad, and ghosts are evil, and you know, if you have a ghost, you need to get rid of it. So we call that the Hollywood effect because that's well, Hollywood needs to sell their movies and they need to make money, so they need to sensationalize to bring in that. But no, it's just never like that.
Yeah.
Like
Very few places we've gone into where we've thought, okay, this is really, really bad. Like, and I'll use the word evil. I don't use the word demonic. I'm not a religious person.
That's probably a better word to use. Evil.
Yeah. And oftentimes we'll try to substantiate using a term like that with what the known history is. Like Hinsdale, there's some evil there. You know, and there's documented weird deaths. Like there was one homicide that occurred on the property in the mid 20th century where two brothers got into a confrontation over a religious argument. One shot and killed the other one. Then they had a drowning on the property that was under weird circumstances. They had a teenager that fell on a bandsaw and
All on
died.
the same property.
Yeah,
And that just adds.
These are just the
adding,
documented
yeah.
ones. These are the ones These aren't the lore. These are the ones we can.
You
There's
can
a
pull
paper
up.
trail.
Yeah.
Right. It's got a lot of tragic events. Right. And like I'm kind of. My thought process with these places, because you see this, right? You'll go to places, and for some reason, some places are blessed with having a lot of happy, jovial events. Some you just seem to have a lot of bad shit happens, right? If I can say that, I apologize.
No, go ahead. We're that type of podcast. It's okay.
No, it was, and I saw that even in policing, like you'd see pockets, and there was a lot of reasons for that, but you would always be at the same places for the same dark stuff. Right? Like
it's energy. It's
like,
energy.
It
right? Imprints and And
that kind of reminds me. You use the word energy. It brings me back to early on in this when we started talking. You were talking about the energy thing. I look at the energy thing as the old high school teaching of physics. Right? We were always taught in high school that energy can't be destroyed. It can only be converted. So the question becomes, if life is this energy based system, when this physical body dies, where does that energy go? What is the conversion? And is the conversion, something that science might be able to one day explain? Possibly. I don't know. It's well above my head. But like, I just go back to that. If you're trying to convince me, a 14-year-old kid in grade 9, that this can't be destroyed. This is something that can only be converted in its form. But then you're telling us that, well, life is energy. Okay. If both are true, then when the physical life dies, what happens to that? The essence, the energy. Is it imprintable? Is it an intelligent thing? I don't know, and we're not going to be equipped to answer that question fulsomely until we all have that moment.
Until we go through it. You don't know for sure.
But until then, we have a lot of weird things that happen, and you kind of got to go, okay, that's neat, that's odd, that's strange. But.
I think that with recording things nowadays, I'm concerned that, like with evidence, I'm concerned that AI is going to start to make things a little less believable, or
It already has. It already has.
Yeah.
Like, even the technology has always been there. It's just been assigned to the times. So you have to remember, way back in the day, you had Malmer photography, which was the spirit photography, and it was just double exposure.
The plasmas and all that.
Yeah. So a lot of that stuff was just double exposure, right? So it's always been around. It's just, it's conveniently around when it means something. Right? So like back in the day, spiritualism was really high. So, Malmer and a few others created the spirit photography for those who were in mourning and grief, right? Because it brought them kind of a sense of peace. Like, oh, my loved one is still with me. Oh, for God's sakes, Abraham Lincoln's wife, so Mary Todd Lincoln, got in on it because there's that famous picture. And it was just double exposure. He was eventually found out, charged as fraud and all that stuff, right? But same with like all of the psychics back then. Like you had Harry Houdini, who was going after all these psychics to prove that they were frauds, right? Because again, it's they prey on the grief, they prey on the sad, they prey on those who are missing someone, right? AI is going to be the same thing. It's going to prey on all of that stuff. Once it learns all of that, it's just going to be like, guess what, right?
Like it's, and I think like we welcome. If we're putting out something out there that we're saying, hey, listen, this was our investigation, this was our experience, we can't explain it. We're not telling you that this is what it is, and in fact, we're welcoming. If you have more knowledge that can explain that, then please tell us.
Because if you can debunk it, tell us.
And there's so much to it. Like Elizabeth and I, we're working on one right now from a place called Oshawa Inn in Kingston. And the reports were that people are sensing a female presence. They're sensing two children. They get a lot of electrical anomalies like blinking lights and all this. So we went. Actually, it was it was Rachel, Kaz, and Elizabeth and I.
For my birthday.
For your
Your birthday.
We try to one-up each other if you haven't noticed yet.
So, and we stayed in this room, and I set up a couple of cameras and some digital stuff, some equipment. And sure enough, we're out of the room for hours. We're getting electrical anomalies. Well, it's an old building. Every room has a floor air conditioner, and we were able to determine that every time that air conditioner comes on, within 8 to 15 seconds, there's a blink in the light.
Okay.
Done. That's debunked. But we had one thing that I couldn't explain, and it was I had a REM pod on the bed, and we're not there. All of a sudden, table lamp that I left on goes blindingly bright for about 2 seconds. And at the same time, my REM pod about 12 feet away starts activating, suggesting a proximity disruption. I can't explain it, so I get a little techie. I come up with something that I've never heard of called an electrical transient event. And basically what it was that when that the most likely probability is when that air conditioner shut off and had been off for a period of time, there was kind of like a back pressure of electricity.
Okay. Yeah.
The lamp is plugged into the same wall area as the air conditioner is. That electricity has to go somewhere. It also creates a magnetic field. It caused a brief surge in that light, and it dramatically expanded the electromagnetic field in the room, which caused a disruption in my REM pod.
And now you know that could happen again.
Right. It's
So
not a
it's
ghost.
like,
It's tech.
And it's just like we get lots of people who email us all the time with their experiences. They'll send us videos, they'll send us pictures, and we don't go, oh my gosh, yes, that's a ghost. Like
Very rarely do we.
It's very rare. So we always give the logical explanation as to what it could possibly be.
Yeah.
Sometimes we don't have an explanation, but it's hard for us to say it's paranormal because, we'd have to be there. We'd have to know what's the temperature, what's going on around you, how many people are standing behind you, how many people are in front of you, are you out in public? Like, there's so many questions we need to go through to be like, okay, it can't be this, but it could be this, and it can't be this, and it could be this. Like, if you're going to send me pictures of the sun on your neighbor's garage and some shadows and tell me it's a demon, and I'm going to tell you, no, it's a sun. It's, and then people really want it to be paranormal.
Yeah,
so
they
we've
do.
had plenty of people go, well, it is paranormal and blah, 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 blah. And then they'll just go to the next group. And then they'll go to the next group until they get that. Okay, yeah, it's paranormal.
I think, for myself, like I so badly want to experience these paranormal. And then when I do, I so badly want to debunk it. Because I'm like, no. Like, there's no way.
Can't be happening.
It didn't just happen. It's this and this and this, right? But sometimes you just can't explain it.
And Wildwood is a really good one for us because, so the last time we were there, we were all on the second floor. Ryan's the only one on the first floor. We're all filming and we're talking and we're asking questions. And we hear this bang.
Like
and
building shattering.
And we're all like, and I'm like, oh, Ryan's downstairs. So we're like, Ryan, was that you? And they're like, he's like, no, was that you? And we're like, what was that? Because now we have two people, we have a whole bunch of us on two different floors.
And we recorded, it's like somebody took an appliance and dropped it on the floor. It was an interesting, and we went around the place and we could not explain, and we couldn't duplicate that. So we don't know what that was.
Have you ever had those, maybe it's just Hollywood, but those intelligent responses where it's like you ask a question and then they knock once, knock twice if it's yes, knock once.
Wildwood again.
Yeah.
Wildwood.
This is Wildwood just gives us a lot of stuff, but
I got to go to this place.
I know. We should just make a whole trip. So we have the paranormal music box, which plays that really creepy, music box music. And this has happened in other places too, but this one really sticks out in my mind because there's three of us standing there and we're all like, oh, look it's playing. Oh my gosh, are you with us? If you're with us, can you
play it?
Play it some more? And it would just keep going. And
But then you'll ask something else, like, can you do a knock on the wall?
well, but the thing was with this one, because we had Kathy with us on our team, and she's like, I'm not feeling the greatest. Like, I'm feeling like we're invading on. And I'm like, if you want us to leave and go downstairs, make it stop. And it just dead stopped. And we're like, okay, bye. We walked downstairs. We're like, we're going to respect its wishes.
It's almost like the energies or whatever it is, the energies might be at different levels on what they can do. So maybe if it's an older energy, they have more experience, so they can interact with the physical
that's the same with
environment.
if it's an intelligent, they'll be able to. If it's residual, it's you that could pick it up by walking by. Because it's just walking by. But this one was intelligent.
Yeah.
Wow. It's
really? I mean, but then again, the skeptic in us kind of goes, well, hold on. Could there be some coincidence, the laws of coincidence going on here? Could it just be that we happen to ask that question at the same time that thing was going to cycle off anyway? We don't know, right? But it does. We do have.
But when you're in that moment, you're like, oh,
yes,
boy.
it's finally the moment we've been waiting for. Let's go with it.
But we've had Wildwood again. Wildwood is crazy. The basement has some. I wouldn't say there's anything evil at Wildwood, but it is assertive. It feels, you get this feeling that you're trespassing, right?
Okay.
And the basement is. When you and Jay and Elizabeth and I were down there and we did that double SDs, that was really weird because so Jay and Elizabeth are both doing SDs. They're just calling out what they're hearing on two different types of devices. They're kind of separated from us. We're quietly asking our
and they're on
question.
two different devices. you were on the Ghost Box, and
Yeah.
Jay was on the Necrophonic, which is an app on the phone. So they're completely separate devices
Yeah.
that aren't even running on the same like waves, if you want to call it.
Yeah,
right?
totally
So,
different technologies.
Yeah.
And then we put some physical props out, like a ball and something else.
Did we have a balloon?
We had a balloon on the floor, and we're asking things to move. She'd call out, "I'll move," and then the balloon just blows across the floor.
And Ryan and I are like,
Okay,
oh my God.
what the hell is that? But again, all of those by themselves, it's like reasonable grounds, right?
Yeah.
Like if I know one thing about you, I'm not going to be able to charge you. But if I have a constellation of
Yes.
things that lead to me down a path,
Plus the history,
exactly,
right? Yeah.
And this is what this experience
Well, and
was.
the
is we
thing,
had,
but
Yeah.
Wildwood has a very minimal history because all of their records
are gone.
are gone because
Did
they
it like burn in a fire?
literally. So because
Yeah.
it was a private practice, all of the medical files were kept at the hospital, and that hospital burnt down years ago.
Yeah.
Right. So they're all gone. So they only have very minimal information, and a lot of it's coming from the locals.
Yeah.
We've identified like the staff member, the 2 doctors, the 3 nurses that were primarily
One
employed there.
patient.
One patient we've
Yeah.
identified. But we've identified, it's interesting because they've had experiences in the house and around the house that references the death of a young boy. Well, Rachel was able to substantiate that, yeah, we actually confirmed the death of a 6-year-old, I think it was, or 8.
Yeah, something like that.
Tommy
Yeah.
is his name.
Yeah.
And they have a room in there that, for whatever reason, people have report experiences of this Tommy, right? And that's a weird room. We've gotten some weird things
It doesn't help that the cemetery is like
right there.
block from the
Yeah.
backyard.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And there's reports that people were buried on the property when it was a tuberculosis hospital
We can't
and all that kind of stuff.
substantiate
And they
that.
don't know for sure, right?
Yeah.
Like there's just nothing.
Do you think that there's a lot of activity with cemeteries? Because I've heard like sometimes that's not the case because they're already at rest and maybe they're somewhere else.
Right.
What's your experience on cemeteries?
So cemeteries for me is usually a caretaker. Right, so
yeah,
someone who
yeah,
has
there you
worked
go.
there. So like Salem Cemetery in
Yes,
Ajax, right?
yes.
I have family members buried there. So it was told to me that it's the caretaker of that facility
Yeah.
that is still there. Church that's on the property, that's a whole different story.
Yeah.
But the caretaker roams the grounds, and that's what people normally see now. And this is what I thought was really, really interesting was when we went there. Like we've been there hundreds of times, obviously, but the first few times we went, we were like all brand new to this. Like we're like right start because it's free, right? Like it's
Yes.
a cemetery, it's public
Yeah,
property.
you can just go up
You just
there.
go.
Yeah.
There's no gates. You just walk in.
Yeah.
It's on both sides of the road, and we're there with a bunch of people. And I can handle dead people. I can handle ghosts. I cannot handle wildlife. Nope. Me and bunnies. Nope. Me and raccoons. Nope. Don't even.
Bats?
I can handle bats. I can handle bats and mice.
can't.
No, you can't.
But not rodents.
No, I can do mice. I'm good with mice. I really don't care. I used to work on a farm, so it's not right. But so we're like wandering around, and it's dark, obviously, and we could hear dogs. Now this is before the 407, so because we're
Okay.
old, was put in, so it's farmland.
Yeah.
And of course, dogs in the distance. It's just a farm dog. He's just barking away, blah. And we're investigating, and the dog sounds like it's closer now. But now it sounds like there's more than one dog. And I'm like, it's just a farm across the street. And then it gets closer, and I'm like, I don't know. And then you can hear it like it's sounding like it's circling. And of course, my mind goes, oh no, it's coyotes and they're hungry, right?
Yeah.
But we don't see them. We're not we're not like hearing them, but you can feel like they're like circling. And at that point, I was like, I'm done. And I go and I get in the car.
Yeah.
Right? And then I find out later, because we didn't see anything, and I find out later that the story goes, the caretaker's there. He still roams the ground. He has a pack of dogs with him.
Oh my gosh.
So is that who
So
I was hearing?
yeah.
And I haven't heard it since.
Interesting.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It's not just humans. You can also animals too. I've
Oh,
heard
I had
there's
it-
like stories of the ghost dogs in London, England.
Yeah,
and
yeah. I had a
all that,
ghost
yeah.
cat when I first moved into my apartment in Oshawa.
Yeah.
We have a ghost cat at home.
I was gonna say.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah.
We had
And
a
you
cat.
just hear it like
No, like we this is weird, and we've been able to film this now, and we don't have an explanation for this. My son's cat, well, our son, not mine, but you did most of the work. But the cat passed away 2 years ago now.
2 years is June.
Yeah. And one of the things this cat would do all the time is there's one particular cupboard in the kitchen he would pry open and climb into. Just loved it. Like you'd have to, put something up against the door at night to make sure this animal would not pull into the cupboard. Well, the home where the cat died and where we're living is, we've never experienced that other than the cat doing that. After the cat dies now,
He died at home.
died at the front door. But anyway, after his death, we became conscious or aware to the fact that this is happening dozens of times over the last 2 years, where we'll get up in the morning and the bloody cupboard doors.
Wide open.
It's only open as far as that fat cat can get into, but it happens a lot. So it's an unusual. I'll tell you another story.
No.
Actually, are you okay if I tell the story about your mom?
Okay.
Okay. Same house. So the house has had 2 deaths in it. Both her parents passed away in this home in the same room. 2 years ago, her mom passed away. Long story short, she gets diagnosed with brain cancer, and she's dead exactly a month to the day after the diagnosis. Very, very quickly.
Gosh, I'm so sorry to hear
Thank
that.
you.
She passes in the same room where her husband had passed about 11, 12 years earlier. And about a week or so leading up to her death, 2 weeks maybe leading up to her death, at this point, she's basically confined to the room. And this woman was like very matter of fact. Everything was rational. She didn't buy into this stuff at all. She starts focusing on a spot above her closet door, and she starts having conversations with her deceased sister, her deceased husband, her deceased parents, her deceased best friend. This is where because I write that off for the most part. I did at the time thinking, okay, you know what, it's the body, it's a hallucination aspect of death, right? For us, this is where it got weird. We have a dog as well. The dog and the cat hated each other, wouldn't be in the same room. They never would go near that room. But at that same point, we started seeing both our animals exhibiting behaviors that were odd. They were continuously trying to get into that room with Sheila, and to the point where the cat would be jiggling the bedroom door to try to get in.
Oh, yeah.
We caught our cat and dog sitting side by side, staring up at the same location.
No way.
Yeah. And I'm going to get teary-eyed about it.
Yeah.
It's the weirdest thing. We can't explain it because we had the cat. At that time, the cat was 16 years old. The dog was 9. And they hated each other for the 9 years that they lived in the same place. Like they hated each other. The dog would terrorize the cat. But to see them exhibit behavior where they not only tolerated each other, but would lie beside each other, focused on the same point that your mom was focused on, we can't explain that.
Yeah, animals, they have some sort of, just like very young children, there's like, the veil is thin for them, I think. That's what I think. And they're able to see these things. Like you hear the stories of like in hospice when there's like a cat in the hospice, and as soon as the cat starts going to one room, it's like they're close. They're close, right? It's very interesting. There's definitely some sort of, they're sensitive.
Yeah, for sure. And again, I don't know what to this point, I don't know what that was, but it is unexplainable to us.
Yeah.
Like it's just a very, very unrepeatable behavior or observation that we saw. We'll never be able to duplicate that. But what that collective experience was, why your mom focused on the same point, that those 2 animals that hated each other were so steadfast
Always
on having
the
to
same
be.
corner.
It was weird.
And have they been like that since or no?
No, after
after
she
that,
died, the cat survived another
6 months?
6 months, and it was literally within days of her passing, both animals returned to behaving how they typically did. They wouldn't even occupy the same space.
Interesting.
Yeah, it was weird.
Yeah.
It was a strange
It's
thing.
like an anecdote, basically, right?
It's anecdotal. It's not really valuable in any
But
time
it's
of
your
evidentiary.
experience,
Yeah, it was a
and-
weird experience.
Wow.
Weird. Like I don't know how you explain that.
You don't.
No.
Yeah.
It's just it's an experience. You know, we all have our experiences, and that's one of them for you guys, right? Yeah.
That was a crazy period of time, actually.
Yeah.
That was a weird stuff. But again, like it doesn't, like I know for me, my needle has moved on this topic. I do believe that there's something to this.
Yeah.
No, I do. I believe there's something. And this is why I get back to the control freak. As a cop, as a control freak, I can control this environment, right?
Yeah.
That's the whole job, is control. But whatever this is, I have no control over it. I'm just a passenger.
I
watching
still
You're just
remember
experiencing
when
it.
we did he first did his first Estes method.
Oh.
We all looked at each other, and Liz wasn't part of the team back then, but everyone looked at each other and we were like, "Who's going to be the one that taps him out?" Because he's blindfolded and can't hear anything. Like that cop.
Somebody's
it's
getting
good.
punched.
Someone's getting hurt.
Yeah.
So like, of
True.
course they're like,
Yeah.
you can do it, Rachel. I'm like, oh.
Just
So
get a
I just
stick.
like literally I was like, what can I poke him with? So I was like tiptoed up and I was like, but he came out just fine. But like,
Yeah.
it's just like, it's that kind of stuff, right? Like,
But you know what? Like it's the other part too is, and we've had this experience, and you almost wonder if that background for me, if that's why, because I've had some weird things where I like tangible injuries that are happening in places that can't be explained. We did Ogdensburg.
oh,
And again, this is a crazy experience that we can't explain. So we're there last June. We investigate 3 buildings, amazing museum, a lot of history. We're in the 3rd building, which is it's in a state of disrepair and renovations, right? So,
Yeah.
and the theory is renovating a space creates.
Stirs things up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we conduct our investigation in the 3rd building. We're probably 4 or 5 hours into the investigation at this point, and we're leaving the 2nd floor, coming down to the 1st floor to exit the building. Everybody has gone downstairs except for Elizabeth, Jay, and me.
And I'm
it's
ahead of you.
Yeah, you guys
I'm
are all.
not even that far ahead of you.
No, but everybody else is down on the 1st floor.
Yeah.
So I get about midway down the stairs, and I hear a hiss, like a cat hiss. That's what I thought it was.
Yeah.
And then I feel Elizabeth bump me into me. Well, I fall off the stairs and I break my foot again. Like I re-broke my foot. And the crazy thing is when we examined that after the fact, I was the only one on the stairs at the time.
And so he's
There is
like,
no cat.
like, I'm
Yeah.
like the landing is here and the stairs are here and I'm
Yeah.
like right here at the. I don't even hear anything.
Yeah.
I just hear. dum-dum-dum-dum-dum.
And Kathy, our another teammate, she describes it. She goes, "No, Ryan, you didn't fall off. You kind of flew off and hit the wall."
Did you feel like something pushing
Yeah,
you?
I
you
blamed her. I thought she
okay,
was right
yeah.
behind me and pushed me. And
Yeah.
dragged
Because
me
when
down
I
the stairs.
turned over, he's like right up against
On
the
the ground,
wall.
yeah.
Right? Like
So
usually,
you've gotten physical a few times.
3
then.
times,
Yeah.
4 times.
Yeah.
The
This is
jail,
always you.
I went home with 3 scratches. And then we
Nice.
actually had my back scratched in real time. We videoed it at a place in Peterborough. Yeah.
Where in Peterborough?
Langs, Pioneer Village.
Yeah.
Oh,
we were
Pioneer
in
Village.
the Keene Hotel.
Yeah.
And it's a weird place because in real time, like we were doing a private investigation. We were doing just our team thing, and they're filming. We got multiple cameras in there, but some couple of people have handheld cameras. And I call out. I'm like, I'm feeling something burning on my back. Kathy and Kaz pulled my shirt up, and in real time, you see.
Yeah,
This-
and that's the same one where Kaz, when she's filming, she captures something go over my shoulder.
Yeah, it was
And
weird.
I have those pictures.
Yeah, and video we have as
Yeah.
well.
Oh, wow.
And the weird thing for that is, again, I'm the skeptic in me tells me I must have leaned up against something.
Yeah,
Did
but
I,
if you
am I
have
having?
like,
Yeah. So
He's just standing in the middle of a room, like
Yeah.
there's nothing around.
Yeah, so
we're in the flop.
you try to rationalize.
Well,
it.
and we
thing
did.
is-
yeah.
We
He's
did.
trying to rationalize in a room that's called the flop room. You know what's in this room? 2 strings and a bunch of straw mattresses on
That's
the
it.
floor. Ticks.
Yeah.
Like they're literally straw ticks. Like that there's nothing else in the room. And he's standing and where he's getting scratched is nowhere near where the door is. And I'm right there beside him.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's not like I just was like, right? Like
Yeah.
We have no explanation for that. But what was interesting, what's even more interesting about that event is we've conducted a lot of public investigations there. Again, we don't tell people all the details of a location. We want them to experience it. We've now had it on 3 separate occasions where we've had adult men, generally in their 40s to 60s. They're in the same spot and have very visceral emotional reactions where they run out of the building. We've had 2 of them break down and start crying and can't bring themselves to go back in there.
Yeah.
So we don't know what that is.
Whatever
but
it is, it's territorial. Kind
and
of.
it's men that it's
Yeah,
affecting,
yeah.
right? Like,
and you know what? Now that you said that, that was the last building that guy was in before he just decided
Disappeared.
to take off.
yeah. So
Someone
what
just
we-
left during an
Yeah, we had to call
investigation.
the OPP
We had-
and
yeah.
conduct an
Way.
investigation.
Well, that was a whole. So basically, this guy left at this time, but the people that he was with, so his girlfriend and her mother and her aunt or something,
her aunt, yeah.
didn't say anything to anybody that he had left, right? And at the end of the night, like this is like 11 o'clock, we're done, we're packing up, we've put everything away, and she comes in, she goes, "I can't find my boyfriend." We're like, "What?"
What the hell?
Something you do not want to hear.
I've been down this road
During an
before.
investigation.
It's 20 after 11.
Yeah.
We're
Yeah.
like, when was the last time you seen him? And she's like, like 8
8?
o'clock. And we're like,
So it's been a few hours.
what?
Yeah. Oh boy.
And so of course now the people at the museum are like, oh no. So they're on their golf carts. They're going around.
We do a perimeter
We're
search,
like,
nothing.
we go to every building that we've been in. We're up high, down low, looking. My mind goes, we are right beside a freaking river.
Yeah, body of water.
It is October.
Yeah.
If you go too far towards the right in this property and
Yeah.
it's dark outside, you are going in the water, and then the water goes through.
It's taking you.
The water's going to take you through the grist mill, like
Oh.
through a waterfall, and
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
not
It can be
safe.
bad.
not what you want.
Yeah.
And then we're like, oh my god. And we couldn't find them, and so of course at that point you have to call in the OPP.
Yeah.
So
They
the
have
first
to.
two officers show up, and then they realize the significance, and then 3, 4, 5.
the rest of the
There's
OPP
like 7, 8
detachment.
officers there conducting the search. We find them hours later.
Yeah, they find
Yeah.
them.
But you're right. That was the last building he was in.
What did he say? Like, did he go into like a trance?
No,
or?
he went into a drug-induced walk.
Oh, so he took like
He took something.
Yeah.
interesting.
Ended up in downtown Keene. They found him sitting on a park bench. He had a fantastical story about how he fought a bear,
nice.
all that kind of stuff. And we're like,
It's like,
never
there's been-
again.
Yeah.
Never again. So after that, like, and we always give out like our guidelines beforehand.
Yeah.
And even before that, guideline was if you need to leave, please let us know or let the staff know. So we're not looking for you at the end of the night.
Yeah.
That's
Simple.
our first police
Common sense.
investigation we've had to have.
Now we say,
wow.
if you don't, you will be blacklisted and you will never come to another event
Yeah.
ever again, right? Like, we are not, listen, not 12 o'clock. We were there till like 12:30 in the morning.
Oh, it's later than that. I didn't get home
The
till
I
like
was a
2:30.
part of the team.
No.
And you got home at like 2 in the morning or
Yeah.
something.
Yeah,
like
and the
that.
next day we had to go to Cambridge for 10 a.m. to do a presentation.
Oh,
Yeah.
no.
That was crazy.
It's like, oh.
But yeah, you know, so what is that experience, right? Like
Yeah.
we've now had 4. I'm not going to count that one as part of the hotel thing because I can't
just
say
never know.
definitively that was.
Yeah,
But I
exactly.
think
But
it
it's
was.
just interesting.
But
Yeah.
I can say definitively we've had 4 separate instances that have been negative in the same space in that building
Mm-hmm.
over the course of the past 2 years, all affecting men of the same
Mm-hmm.
age group. It's weird.
What is the history of that spot?
So Lang Pioneer Village is Pioneer Village.
Yeah.
Everything was brought there except for the grist mill. That's original to the property. But they've gathered buildings from around Peterborough County. And one of those buildings is the Keene Hotel, which is actually located just down the street from where they are in like the town of Keene.
Okay.
So they just brought it up there and they've restored it to make it look like what it was supposed to be back in the day. So
they've moved buildings.
they moved buildings.
Okay.
Yeah. So
interesting.
just like all pioneer villages,
Yeah.
they collect and they move. And it used to be a hotel, the Keene Hotel. So the front portion of the building was like a parlor for the ladies, a men's lounge where they could smoke and drink and have a barbershop, and then they would serve food. Upper floors, they had like your salesman room, so your traveling salesman would have his room so he could set up all his stuff. You had like the best room, the better room, and then your flop room. So, you know, your best room, you got your hot water. You know, your better room, you had to share the room with someone possibly. The flop room, you just were flopping down for the night. Back part of the house was like the private residence where the Canales lived, who operated it. So the Canales lived there, Martin and Mary Jane, and then they had like their 8 children.
It's a lot.
And then they had her nieces and nephews come in when her sister and brother-in-law passed because they needed a place to stay. So that then they had like 13 kids in the house and they all had the same names and the same last names.
That confuses things.
Oh, that would have been something else. But so we don't know exactly, like it was an inn, like
Yeah.
unless you can find, because they did keep records back in the day of who stayed. Unless you find that ledger, you're never going to know exactly who stayed there.
Yeah, it could be someone that passed away there,
Yeah,
like
there could be.
suicide or something.
Well, I think the other
yeah.
piece of that too is the location. It was along a fairly well traveled stagecoach and route, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, the history would be that the the people that are utilizing it are pretty transient.
Yeah.
Right. So you're getting all kinds of people and all kinds of history. You're going to get a lot of good people, but you're going to get a few not so good people coming through there, as we do today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. That's human behavior. So my guess would be that there's probably been some not so nice things that have happened in there, which again that might support why it's only males that are being targeted in that space, because it doesn't happen anywhere else in the in the house or in the building. It's just the flop room.
Yeah.
And it's weird. Like it's just, so we have that becomes a little disconcerting when we have these events where people are physically affected, because we've had other people on the team physically affected. I mean, you and Allison the first time at Beck was weird. I don't know that you've had anything. Well, you did. Where were we? Was it Wildwood that you got? I thought it was Wildwood you got. Maybe I'm wrong. I'm not even going to say it because I think I might be wrong.
Seems like a lot of things happened at Wildwood.
In 301, back then, all the activity people were presenting was in 302, and we were in 301 that night, and we were waiting for you guys. You were in 302, and you got so tired so quick, you passed out. I think
Probably
half an hour or so. No, but it's not like her.
Like the energy kind
I've
of
never
drained.
seen her react that way.
That's the other thing you just touched on. We have that a lot, is the energy draining
It's
experience.
Just like batteries, right? How the batteries get
time.
drained.
Yeah.
It's like we are a battery.
Yeah.
We get drained too.
So let me tell you about back on that. Liz and I do. This is all the same night that I was telling you earlier about that weird transmission that we recorded.
Yes.
So earlier that day, 11 o'clock in that morning, we get up there, we get the room. I set up 3 cameras, all separate video cameras, and I put a digital audio recorder on the table in the kitchen, and we leave for 2 hours.
Yeah.
We're the only ones that are on the floor. I come to learn this later. We come back a little over 2 hours later. All 3 of my cameras have shut down. They haven't recorded a thing. All 3 of them are just stopped.
man.
Yeah, nothing.
Yeah.
But my digital audio recorder
Kept
captures
going?
the whole 2 hours. About 40 minutes into the recording, it's all quiet, but all of a sudden you hear footsteps in there, you hear furniture being moved around, everything else. So I interrogate the owner of the property. I bring her up, Brenda. I bring her up for a tea, and
Poor
I'm like,
Brenda.
okay, you got to tell me what's going on here. Like, who else is up here? Who has access? Like, this is. And then I let her play. I let her hear it, and she's like, there was nobody else up here. In fact, you guys are the only ones on the 3rd floor.
Yeah.
Like, there was nobody in this space in that period of time, and so. That's a weird, that happened during the day, the same day we recorded that weird noise I sent you guys from the small bedroom, and 16 minutes later, we get this weird transmission that I was telling you about earlier.
When you're going through footage and audio recordings, you guys are going for a while. How do you go through all of that material after the fact?
Well, that's the problem. It's pain. That's why it just got posted, and this happened in June.
At least with audio, you can look at the wavelengths, so you can see kind of like when the wavelength spikes. Because I'm coming from I do a lot of video editing, so I know like that's when I'm looking at the audio. Okay, if it spikes, there's something, right? So at least that helps. But going through the actual footage and trying
well, that's
to
a lot of
frame by
thing too. Is
frame.
people don't realize
8
8 hours of investigating is 8 hours of footage per device that you have to look through. So if you have 6 cameras, well, that's 8 hours 6 times, right?
And it's always more than that. Like we run just still video alone is a half a dozen.
Yeah.
And then when we set up your system, that's another 8?
depending,
If we run them all. And then
Yeah.
everybody's got their own camera they're walking around with, plus audio devices. I mean, you literally, a 24-hour investigation produces several hundred hours of footage that has to go through. And when you have dinosaurs like you and I that don't know how to do, like we've never done this.
And like the thing is, like you have to, you're listening to everything. You're watching everything because there could be a point where you miss something.
Yep.
Yeah.
We did Black Creek Pioneer Village 10 years ago, and we were in the cemetery portion, and we're investigating, and me and another investigator at the time, we're just like asking questions and all that kind of stuff. And another investigator comes out of nowhere and is like, "Oh my God, did you hear that man say hello?" And we're like,
Look at the one
"What are you talking about?" Like, no, I hear traffic from this side. I hear us asking, and now I hear you. Like, I don't hear anything, right? Anyway, we keep going on. We're investigating the end of the night, blah, blah, blah. Go back a few days later, because I will wait a day or two to look at my stuff because I want to get my head out of the investigation. So now when I'm listening, I can pick up anything that might sound different.
Yeah,
right?
look at it from fresh eyes.
Exactly,
basically.
exactly,
Yeah.
right? So I'm, I got my headphones on. I'm sitting on the couch, and I'm listening, and I'm like, oh, here am I asking the question. I'm like, oh, this is when this investigator's going to come up, and he's going to say something. And right before he does, you hear a man go, hello? And I was like, because I didn't hear that when I'm there. So,
But he did, though.
but he did.
Weird.
Yeah.
We've had that experience.
Yeah,
We were
so-
at Bob Cajun.
Yeah.
When we had
oh
Gene.
yeah, you.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And it was, this person was he was the homicide victim
Yeah.
at this location. We're in one of the other buildings, and it's Rachel and Allison and Elizabeth and myself. And Rachel just jokingly says, "Hey, Gene, are you following us around?" Well, I hear, and I said, we're this close. I'm like, did you hear that? None of them hear it. Well, thankfully, Allison at the time had a recording going,
Nice.
a digital
Yeah.
recorder. We play it back, it's clear as day.
It's
Yeah.
almost like you're kind of like one person's tuned into that frequency, the same frequency that maybe like the recorders are,
Yeah.
while others aren't, and then it changes. Like it's like if we can only be always tuned into that frequency and know what frequency they're on. I think it's a frequency thing.
Oh,
I do
100%.
too.
Yeah.
The other piece too is with all the technology today, like Liz and I just went through one very recently where I was able to isolate the sound, and it clearly sounds like a woman's voice. But when we ended up doing the investigation on that sound, we were able to determine it's actually doesn't present as human vocal structure at all. It presents as background noise. So it's auditory pareidolia, right?
Yeah,
What
yeah,
you think
yeah.
you're hearing, your brain is trying to make sense of what it is
And
you've
that's
experienced.
the same thing
Yeah.
when you watch these paranormal shows and they're like, oh, we caught this EVP, and they play it and then they put the word down underneath when it's supposed to say it.
Yeah.
You're gonna read that word and your brain's gonna be like, oh yeah, that says that. It could just be some blah, 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 and it's like, oh, that said brown shoes, and you're like, oh, I can hear it now, right?
Yes. Yeah.
So a lot
That
of that
drives
you
me
have
nuts.
to, you have to dismiss a lot of that.
Yeah.
And that's,
Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of been like, for me, it's the investigative aspect. I kind of, it sucks when we debunk it and say, yeah, okay, it's nothing.
Yeah.
But I find that equally as fascinating, right? When
is.
it's not, we can't say it's paranormal, or we can't say it's high strangeness of some kind. There's an explanation. For me, the path to that explanation or lack thereof is just as, mystifying. I.e., this symbol or this signal we just put out. Clearly, whatever we captured at Beck in that instance is not high strangeness. It's something organized structure. But what it is
So earlier when you were bringing this up, and this is going to bring us into a completely kind of different topic, but when you were bringing this up, you mentioned it's aliens.
What's my excuse for it? It's aliens.
So sometimes you'll just be like, oh, if it's not that, it's aliens. So
yeah, I'll just be like, meh.
could it be?
I don't know. I don't think we're. You know what? I don't think we're equipped to answer those
That's a
questions.
different team.
And,
That's
certainly at this level. But like I said, the possibilities are fantastic, aren't they?
Yeah.
Like that, and that's the piece. Like for me, like I'm like a kid in a candy store this week, and our son, who thinks I'm an idiot, this is the only one he's actually been interested in, is because of the possibilities of it being some sort of a code, right?
Yeah.
But what is interesting is whatever it is we captured, it's not random noise. We've been able to exclude that. We've been able to exclude malfunction with the device, and we've identified structure, right? And we've identified repeatable pattern, and we've identified characters,
Yeah.
right? Through different cryptography and that. So that to me, I find really fascinating.
Yeah.
Now, it could be something really simple, like for whatever reason, the device intercepted a satellite transmission.
It's true.
Right?
It
could be something like that.
Yeah.
But what's equally interesting about that is that device is not designed to do that.
Yeah.
It does two things. It's designed to detect proximity disruption, and it's designed to detect fluctuations in temperature. That's it. It's
Interesting.
not designed to do anything else. So for it to have behaved this way, and it's never done it before or since, that to me is equally puzzling, and I want to know why.
It almost reminds me of there's a new Apple TV show. It's called Pluribus. Have you guys? Yeah. So this is. Have you guys watched it?
I haven't started. It's on the list.
Yeah. Oh, you haven't started. Okay. I'm not going to spoil anything, but the premise is that there is some sort of signal that is picked up, and it sounds like Morse code, but it's not. And they do decode it, and it's. I'm not going to go any further, but that's what it reminds me of. Yeah.
Well, it's funny because when I posted it, I put it out there, and I don't give any real characterization of what it is other than we captured this weird sound. And the comments we've been getting back, most people are going to Morse code. And in fact, that's what I thought it was as well initially, because it had that structure, and I was able to identify organized pattern that Morse code operates in two pulses, a short pulse and a long pulse. That's your dashes and dots, right? And then it operates with 3 pulse gaps of varying lengths. That's how you determine letters, words, and endings to phrases or sentences, right? So that's what this has. But when I further investigate it, it's not Moors. It's like Moors, but it's not Moors.
Something similar.
It's something different, but it's producing similar characters. So I had a guy comment from the States said, if you really want to jump down the rabbit hole, here's a list of protocols you can check out. I'm afraid to try that because I don't know what list I'm going to end up on.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah. You want to be able
on
to
the dark web
yeah,
or
Yeah.
something.
and you want to be able to cross that border because
Yeah.
there's lots of places we need to go to.
So, but like I said, I mean, this could be is equally fascinating to me.
Yeah.
Like and to me, it's like you discovered something. It's the clue. Now I got to chase the clue.
Yeah.
Right? What is that?
I wonder what type of professional would be able to help you out with that. Like, I don't know.
Well-
there's got to be somebody that's into these things.
Yeah, I mean, I've been able to kind of reach out from my past life. That
Oh, okay.
I'm able to,
He's got some connections.
Nice.
but it's yeah. I mean, getting back to the paranormal aspect of this is the great thing about how this field has evolved is there is a lot more technicality to it now.
There is.
The technology that exists that can help corroborate or refute or at least help you along that investigative path.
Yeah.
It's a great thing. It's a double-edged sword too, though, because I think most people want it to be something fantastic.
Yeah.
And almost always you're able to say, no, it's not.
Yeah.
But it doesn't dissuade us from the chase. Like we're still
gosh,
chasing
no.
because you get that one thing that you're like,
Yeah, I
holy
know.
crap.
Chasing the dragon.
Yes, literally, literally.
There's speaking of the technology, and I don't know what the name of it is, but there's that. I think it utilizes the Nintendo. No, what is it?
Oh, the
Xbox.
Kinect?
Yes,
The SLS camera.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
I feel like that is not. But what's your experience? Do you?
So we
guys
do
think-
have we do have
We
the
use it.
SLS.
Yeah.
As someone who had an Xbox Connect prior to this setting up, way before they even thought about using it, it's utilized to map human form.
Yes.
It's not utilized to map human form out of anything. It's literally, if it looks like a human, it's going to map it as a stick figure. Okay. It should not map a couch. It should not map, a chair, a light. If it's a mannequin, because it's a human form.
Yeah.
It shouldn't map anything out of a box, out of a carriage, anything like that. A doll, human form. Have we mapped random things that I've questioned? Of course. Has it mapped stick figures in the middle of an empty room?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I would say, again, it's all about how you're utilizing it and where you're utilizing it and your surroundings.
Yeah.
And again, everything, you can't just be like, dead person standing right here, right?
Yeah.
You
you
really
want to
have
jump to that though,
of course,
because it's very exciting.
of course.
right?
Now, when you have it interacting with a living person,
Yes.
it's a little
when
different.
you see them touching someone's head or
there's
whatever, shoulder.
Yeah, so we did the Lind House
Yeah.
in Whitby, and it's just really funny because the whole house was quiet, but every time we were at the top of the stairs to the left, and we find out that that's the room they have the most activity in. They didn't even tell us that, but so we're in there. And there is this stick figure, I'm mapping the stick figure sitting on a chair. And our investigator, Kaz, is behind it, and I can see her as well. And we're like, oh, if you're here, why don't you reach out and give Kaz a high five? So she sticks her hand out, and all of a sudden this thing goes,
No
and
way.
it high fives her. So we're like, we might have something here. So it was kind of
I want
interesting.
to how do you debunk that? I want to jump and say that's evidence. It's
Yeah,
intelligent.
it is, and
There's
that's
the gristmill
yeah.
story that I
Oh,
always get grief for.
yeah, but it is something like that. You want to be like, oh my gosh, I just right.
Because at what
But
point is it definitive?
exactly,
Right?
I
It's
don't
hard
think
to.
I don't think
Exactly.
there is a point that you
No,
can
no.
actually.
and that's
assert
why when
that.
we
Yeah.
get stuff like that, we'll post it and be like,
What do you think?
what do you think?
Yeah.
Right?
I
This
think
is how
it'll just always be up to people's opinions.
exactly.
And their experience.
Well,
right?
here's another anecdotal story about the SLS, which
Oh,
is really
Lord,
good.
here we go.
The gristmill. So the gristmill, the story is it from employees and other people that have experienced. They're on the third floor. People have reported seeing feeling a male presence pacing. We call him the pacer. They've seen an apparition, just a shadow that is pacing back and forth. And some people have reported seeing a male about 5-6 feet, as if you're looking at me, right? So on this particular occasion, I had 5 people in my group. Who's my skeptics? Who's my believers? Where do you fall? I got 2 diehard skeptics. One guy he's in his 30s. He's an engineer of some sort. The other lady, who's my diehard skeptic, is a retired nurse. So I give the gentleman the SLS, show him how to work it. I don't know why I was instructing him. He's an engineer. He knows what he's doing.
He should know.
But And we go up. I don't tell them anything about the history of the pacer. Just, hey, listen, this is the building. This is building's the original to the site, blah, blah, blah. Let's go have fun. We go up to make our way to the 3rd floor. Now, what I've done already is I place a REM pod in the one location where I know this pacer has been reported, and I place another EMF device about 15 to 25 paces away in the other location, basically covering off the pace, right?
Okay, yeah.
And I don't say anything. I just stand back at the stairwell, watch these 5 people walk around. And,
Best part about
yeah, it's great. After a
public
few
events.
minutes, the guy comes to me, goes, I don't know what I'm doing. He shows me the SLS. He says, but I'm getting this stick figures pacing back and forth. This is where we start to look at it and go, okay, this is weird. Maybe it's malfunctioning. But as the pacer makes its way over to this EMF device, the proximity alarm goes off if there's a disruption in the energy. It turns around, goes the other way. That proximity alarm goes off. It's disrupting.
Wow.
This is the weird part.
That's amazing evidence.
Well, but all of it can be
Sure.
contradicted. This is the part I can't reconcile. The nurse is standing right in the middle of the track, and she's just standing out there with her hands out like this, and she goes, listen, I think this is my head, but I'm getting this weird tingly feeling in my hands. At the same time, the dude with the SLS is filming the pacer doing this over the top of the woman's hands. And I've got her stick figure from
this
her
guy's
phone.
a comedian. Like,
Yeah.
he's funny. He's a trickster.
It was
whatever
weird.
this is.
So
Yeah.
could all of those have been, malfunctioning? Absolutely.
Yeah.
Could they all have been malfunctioning in a precise way that created a specific perception that supported the substantive, or the reports that have been made? That's a little harder to explain away. I still can't say that's paranormal. I would love to hear what the results are for that, but something that was an experience
something.
that left more questions for 2 skeptics
And
that
so
night.
after that, those skeptics, what do you think?
Both of them
They're
said their
both-
needle had moved
Yeah.
a little bit based on
Yeah.
that. And that's the thing. Like we've all had weird experiences in our life, and that's what gauges you to move your needle. That's a sliding spectrum, right?
Yeah.
And I think as you get older too, and you start to realize, the world's got some really weird things going on in it.
Oh, yeah.
It becomes a little bit easier to accept that, okay, you know what, there's just a lot of stuff going on that I can't
Yes.
explain.
In any of like the places that you've been to and investigated where there's the stories of ghosts or energies, has there ever been stories at the same place of other things going on, like orbs in the sky or like seeing
Hinsdale.
cryptids?
Hinsdale.
Hinsdale.
Yeah.
Hinsdale's got it
We
all.
Is
had-
that in the States?
That's the one in the States.
the one in
Yeah,
the
that
States.
is definitely one that has reports of that as well. Because even the people who live there that started these reports,
Yeah.
they also reported having their house in the middle of the night lit up with a bright light,
Yeah.
and it was the moon, and they would see weird things in the sky, and of course we were there the last time we were there, and there was something going on with the moon, like it was like bouncing.
Yeah, it was weird. It was
I'm
a
like,
weird
I'm not
effect.
having any of this, and I went back to sleep. But
No,
Yeah.
but like, yeah, I don't know about any other places though within this area.
It almost tracks though, because in that area in the States, like you said, it's the Appalachians.
Yeah.
So
Oh, yeah.
it's something else is going on there. It's a hotbed for activity. It's an old place.
And
Oh,
I
yeah.
think
Yeah.
part of it too is again that it plays these locations just by virtue of their creepiness. They play tricks with you.
Yeah.
Right. So a lot of what people are experiencing, I would guess, and again, and this is just an anecdotal thing. I have no experience or to make this assertion, but I would think pareidolia is a lot of this. Right.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
What you're seeing, what you're hearing.
Well, your brain wants
senses are
your brain
heightened.
your brain is trying to comprehend it and
Make
match
sense
it
of it,
and make
yeah.
sense of it.
Especially if
so-
you're in a place that you've never been before too, and it's nighttime. Your
Yeah.
mind is gonna see things.
But this stuff
for sure.
happens. We do investigations in the daytime too. This stuff,
Yeah.
this is not something. See, that's the other kind of misconception about this is, there's a creep factor to it being dark. But if this stuff is existing, this high strangeness is going on, it's going to happen.
Yeah, at any
Whenever.
time of the day, it
Yeah.
should. Why is it only
Why-
active at nighttime?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's what we say. We investigate anytime during the day or night. It's just at night, it's dark, so your other senses are heightened.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
the hustle and bustle of the day is done.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like things are calming down, so you're more apt to hear something or
Yeah.
maybe see something. But that's the only reason why we investigate at night.
See,
Other
it's-
than that,
and
I'll
oftentimes-
investigate during the day.
Yeah, absolutely. And the other piece too is like we our investigations, like they'll be active, but there's lots of periods where they're passive as well. And by that I mean we just sit and listen to the building.
Yeah.
Just sit and take it in and see what's happening. Is that a floor creaky because it's an old building? Is the building itself just kind of moving a bit? Yeah, that's likely what's going on. But
And we get the best evidence and the best experiences when we're not solely focused on investigating, right?
Exactly.
Kaz running up the stairs because she heard, you can hear somebody running up behind her, right?
Oh, this is a crazy.
She was
wild
just
one
going
again.
down the stairs and she's like, hello, was anybody down here? And you hear thump, 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 and you hear her go, what? And she
So the-
runs.
That's scary.
The weird one about that is
Being chased.
Yeah, and the weird one about that for us was Kaz experienced that. She hears this thing chasing her, but I had a stationary video camera at the top of the stairs filming it, and that stairwell. And we didn't know a lot of the history of that stairwell at all, but what it captured at that time was Kaz running up the stairs, and then it clearly captures what sounds like a set of hard shoes running up behind her. And when I sent it to somebody who actually has expertise in this, I didn't tell them anything about what I recorded. I just simply provided the type of device that it was recorded on, and the environment that it exists, and tell me what your perception is. I was able to determine that the sound is external. All he could say is the sound is external to the device, external to the microphone, so it's not an affect of the camera itself, and that the sound is it's mobile. It's approaching the camera, and then it's descending past the camera. So that supports the idea that whatever created that sound was in motion behind Kaz at the time. Now, what that is, who knows? Like, maybe there's an explanation, but I was able to send it to somebody who had no knowledge of where the location was. I simply told them, here's what I recorded. This is the device it was recorded on. Tell me what you think. That was it. And they were able to, from that, his analysis, his impression was it was external and it was in motion, and it supported what Kaz, what her experience was. That was weird. That was a weird one.
Yeah. So you guys have had a lot of experiences, but what was the experience that got you into this?
I can't get into the one that got me into this. I wish I could, but no. I could suffice it to say, thank God there were 4 other people there to present it, because it's sheer lunacy. But I don't think I should share that right now.
Did it happen when you were on the force?
Yes.
Okay. That makes sense to why you can.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Yeah.
Yeah. And it was strange.
And
But that's
got
what
you into
moved
it.
my needle a little bit, going,
Yeah.
okay, what the heck?
Yeah.
But it was a weird one. And if there were not, thankfully, 4 other people to experience it. And it's funny because you and I ran into one of the guys in Niagara-on-the-Lake just about a year ago in a restaurant, in a pub down there.
that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And still to this day, 4 of the 5 of us are long retired now. And the first thing that comes up when I saw
brought
this
it
guy
up.
was,
You remember
that?
this?
yeah, what was that?
Yeah.
And we don't know.
And for me, I just always grew up with it.
So when you were younger, was it like
So my grandparents'
Yeah.
house was haunted, and that's just what we were told. And I was there. They used to babysit me when my mom was at work, and then I would stay there on the weekends because that's where I would go. And I pretty much lived there. Never had an experience, or if I did, I didn't put 2 and 2 together.
Yeah.
And it's just always been around. There's always been stories, and then I just got older and went, I like this stuff.
you've always been interested
Always
in
been-
it, you've heard of it, and it's like, why not?
Yeah. And then I found some like-minded individuals, and like I said, 22 years later, the rest is history. Right?
Yeah.
So.
What was it for you? I don't think we've ever had this conversation.
No, you were part of the group before me.
Yeah.
And I was tagging along. I
Yeah.
was just kind of on the outside watching them do their investigation, not being a part of it, just watching. And then we did ones on our own when we do like Wildwood and all the other ones. And then Rachel's like, why isn't she part of the group already?
Yeah,
So-
but what was it that created, like,
Oh,
caused...
I would just hear stories from you, from Rachel, watching things on your investigations on the outside.
Yeah.
And then that just kind of tilted the...
Yeah, to join,
Yeah.
to be part of it, right?
Yeah. And then, unfortunately, the death of my parents, being in the home we live in.
And seeing that.
Seeing lots of things go on. It's,
that we can't explain?
I'm a
Yeah.
true believer. I'm a cautious believer,
Yeah.
but a believer.
Yeah. Yep.
I'm still very skeptical on the vast majority of it.
Yeah.
I think as entertaining as this phenomena has been made to be, I think that's great because it shines a light on it. But it's also, in some instances, it's kind of made a joke of it as well.
Yeah.
Which I don't like that because the other piece to that is it's created a lot of misinterpretation of what this is and what people are trying to do. Like
And
I
it's
said,
a lot of misrepresentation of history
Absolutely.
and
Yeah.
the
Yes.
truth and
Yeah.
stories, and people are sensationalizing it to benefit themselves,
Yeah.
right? To make them I should say. 'Cause
Yeah.
you ain't gonna get rich. in
So I
this.
mean,
Only if you get a reality TV show.
Pretty much, and even then,
then
you're
maybe.
Even then, you're signing your life away, and that's
Yeah.
no.
but you
no.
have to take the bad with the good, right? Because
Yeah.
I mean, who was it that said that negative, attention is still attention?
Yeah.
It's true. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, there's that. So you just try to manage that aspect of it and try to keep what little piece that we're able to do, try to keep it credible.
Yeah.
In our eyes, we're trying to seriously go through, investigative processes and trying to understand and eliminate or explain, in our minds what this could be.
Yeah.
Like, we won't tell when we don't do a lot of private residential investigations for private citizens that are currently residing in the
Yeah,
location.
I was going to ask that if you guys do
We
house
have.
calls.
We
Yeah.
have.
We have, but it's we vet, and
Yeah.
it's because not
Also, you're
everyone.
going into someone's house. It's like,
You're literally invading somebody's life
Yeah.
and their private space, and sometimes those lives they're not the safest.
yeah.
Yeah.
Put it in a nice way. There's addiction, there's mental health,
Yeah.
and they might not even know that.
Yeah.
Right? So we have to be careful with that as well, because I'm not putting my team members in a predicament where
No.
it's going to cause harm or there's a safety issue, and that's like just anybody, right?
Yeah.
So we tell a lot of people no. And it's not because we
A
don't
lot of people
want
know.
to do it.
Yeah.
It's just
It's a
because
safety
there's a
thing.
safety thing. And there's a lot of things you can do on your own to investigate, if you want to call it, to get you to where you want to find those answers, like
Yeah.
with those, to get you to where those answers are. And having investigators come in is just, for me, I think a lot of people are just seeing it on TV and are like, I need that in my
Yeah.
life.
Yeah, fair
Right?
enough,
Like-
like who really wants like multiple people coming into their house
Exactly.
and filming, right?
Yeah.
Like there must be a big reason.
And I'm
yeah.
sorry, but if like
Yeah.
the houses that I've done, when they're like, oh, like a lot of the activity we experience in the bedroom, like I'm going into your bedroom.
Yeah.
Like, I'm kind of like, this is your private space. I really don't want to be in it.
Yeah.
Right. It's like when someone comes to your house and goes into your bedroom and you're like, what are you doing in there?
Yeah,
Right?
get out.
Like, yeah,
Even when
that's-
they open the fridge, I'm like, why are you opening the fridge?
Yeah.
Get out of here.
the other piece to that too is, like, one of the things we should make clear is we don't make money off this.
No.
Like, these investigations, this is on our time.
It's your
outside.
pure interest.
That's it.
Yeah,
we
pure
don't.
passion.
We don't.
Yeah.
There's not a single dollar that comes to us in some sort of compensation
Yeah.
for us to conduct these investigations, right? Like that. There's a piece to that because I think that's important too, because it adds an element of credibility, right? Like we're curious.
Yeah.
And again, we are working on a couple of private investigations right now. Some of it a lot of the investigation process we can do, not even setting foot in the place. Like, let's find out what your electrical load is in the place. Like, you're telling me you're feeling really weird when you're in this space, and then when you identify that it's got a very high EMF. Well,
yeah.
high unstable EMF environments are notoriously associated with neurological
Yep.
You
effects.
could even be
right? So-
kind of saving people's lives in a way, especially
Yeah.
like if there's like carbon dioxide or
Yeah.
whatever, right?
Well, I mean,
Monoxide.
the big one we see with that is the EMF effect on
Yeah,
people,
yeah.
right? Like, if
Yeah.
you're, it's well known that if you're exposed chronically to a high EMF enclosed environment,
Yeah.
that you're going to feel, anxiety. You're going to,
Yeah, you'll
there
have
is an
hallucinations.
Yeah, you're
Yeah.
going to have hallucinogenic effect to that. Those are things that are they're neurological effects because you're exposed to a very high electromagnetic field, chronically so, right? We've identified, like, we were in Ogdensburg, we were in one of their offices, and they're like, yeah, we're always feeling like we're being watched, blah, blah, blah. Well, we find in there that where they put their Wi-Fi tower
Yeah, it's just
is I mean, it's got the EMF in that
Yeah,
room
you
alone is hundreds of times higher than what it should be.
Yeah.
So if you're sitting there 8 hours a day, 5 days a week, guess what? You're probably going to be exposed to that. And you're going to feel some things.
Yeah, don't put the Wi-Fi modem in your bedroom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean,
Yeah.
but like I said, we enjoy this. We were talking about this earlier, and maybe we'll put this out here. One of the problems now is in Ontario, like, Rachel strives to get the history known, right?
I love that.
And this
Yeah.
is one of the reasons we like to focus on these public investigations with these these settlers villages and stuff, pioneer
Well,
villages.
and even without it, like, our goal is to make history interesting, because we are currently in an era, if you want to call it, where we have generations of kids and even adults that will never step foot in a museum.
Yeah.
Like, for us, school, we would take trips. We would have field trips to the museum. Like, they don't even do that anymore. So we have a whole generation of individuals who will never step foot in a museum or learn about history. And so one of our goals is to make it that kind of interesting so they do go.
Yeah.
And we've successfully done that with a bunch of locations.
It's a creative way
Yeah.
to let people know about local history,
Yeah.
right?
And that's what we want to do, right?
Yeah.
And that's like one of our big goals is let's make it interesting and get people to visit, because they may go and have an experience, or they just may go and actually really enjoy themselves.
Yeah.
But part of the problem,
yeah.
we've talked about it as a team, and this has been recently more so than we're running into the problem in Ontario in particular, it seems, where a lot of these locations now are saying, like, they want these outrageous fees to come in and do this. And we're like, one location we've investigated, I won't name it, but we investigated a couple of times, and it's a really interesting location. But Rachel recently reached out to them to see, hey, listen, do you want to collaborate again? They're like, yeah, but at $5,500 for 6 hours. And we're like,
$5,500.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
So we're running into that that hurdle quite a bit in Ontario, right? And the sad thing is we're not getting anything out of attending these locations like that. That's a one-sided relationship, because they're the ones hosting these events. They're
Getting
the ones,
exposure.
and the exposure is huge. They're generating interest, right? To these locations.
It's almost like when people buy places that are notoriously haunted and then they do it as an Airbnb.
Well,
kind of same thing.
That's what we're finding, and like as a team, this is a dilemma that we've noticed over the past year or so. Is where do we go to do these things? And we're finding that we could drive within 4 hours of our home across the border, and there's dozens of locations to go to.
And they're affordable. Like,
Very
for
much.
example, Wildwood in Hinsdale, it's $350 American. So you're looking right now with
That's like
ours-
900
it's
Canadian,
yeah,
isn't it?
now it is.
Probably.
But you get the location from like 7 p.m. till 10 a.m. the next day. So you have you're there for
The entire night.
The entire night, right? And it's just you. There's no one else there with you, right? Like, when you make these things affordable, then it's a different story, right? Like, so if these locations around here were like, okay, we'll charge you $150 for a few hours, that's just going to pay for the cost of someone to be there.
Perfect.
Cool. Like,
That makes
we're
sense.
totally down for it. Like, we've never once said, hey, we want to investigate this for free.
Yeah.
Right? We're not like that. Sure, some places have said, can you pay an admission fee? And we're like, oh yeah,
Absolutely,
of course.
yeah.
Absolutely.
It helps with
Why
the
not?
preservation of
Right?
that place.
Yep.
but
Exactly.
to be charging these exorbitant prices.
Yeah, and they're like, well, and
$5,500.
if you're filming, it's going to cost you more. I'm like, yeah, but I'm not filming to
Make money.
profit off
Yeah.
of this. I'm filming just in case we capture something. And a lot of the stuff for us is I provide locations with permission forms, right? I want you to say, hey, we're allowed to be there. But I'm also providing you a form that says, hey, you know what? We respect this confidentiality and we respect you allowing us to come here. You can choose how we can release this, whether
Or if we can.
whether
Which has
it's a free
happened.
game, we can release
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah.
Or if you want us to release things but change names of people.
Yeah.
Or if you say we can release something but you want approval first, or we can't release anything at all.
We've had that.
You can pick
Yeah.
whatever you choose, right? And we respect that because that's who we are. There's you'll see our the list of locations on our website. Those are the places we can tell you about.
Yeah.
There's a whole other list of places we've investigated that we can't say.
Right,
So
like-
those ones, is it because maybe something really crazy happened there?
Yeah,
They don't want to
sometimes.
publicize
That and
Yeah.
it could also be a location that is very highly secured and they don't want trespassers, or it's used for something that they really they don't want the connotation that it's haunted. They
Yeah.
don't want that out there because they're afraid that maybe
like a
that-
hotel or a restaurant, it might give them
maybe-
bad business or something like that.
That
I think it would give you
will
good
never-
business,
Oh,
but-
it's always good business.
Yeah.
And
Some
then
of-
you've
some of
got some
these-
places who
Yeah.
are just play right into it, and they're like Jester's Court, right?
Yes, I was just
we're
about to say Justice
haunted. We're
Court.
haunted.
Yeah,
right.
they love it.
So, yeah.
And the other one, the Keg Mansion, that's another one that they put the story on the menu and all that. And I think it draws people, to be
does.
honest.
I think and that's the fascinating thing. Like when I started coming out with these guys, again, a good lesson and don't judge a book by its cover, right? Because right from my very first public investigation with these guys, what I expected was to see a bunch of geeky little, 18 to 25-year-old kids that are
Dressed like goths.
yeah,
Ghostfacers.
that's like, where's the trench coats? I wasn't seeing that. What's actually amazing is the makeup of the people coming to these. It's pretty eclectic.
Yeah.
Like we're
And
finding
it's mostly an older
it is
generation.
very much an older generation, which has been very, very surprising. And for the most part, these people are in tune to what we're doing. Like they're actually engaged. They're interested, and I think part of it is because we don't present this to anybody like, hey, this is a real thing. What we're telling you is, okay, there's some weird stuff we can't explain.
Yeah,
And
be
we
part
don't,
of it.
Yeah, and the
Yeah.
other thing we don't do is if you tell me this was your experience, it was A, B, and C, and we go in there and we're able to resolve most of it, I'm not going to come back to you and say, you know what, that didn't happen.
Yeah.
I'm going to say, like, that experience is real to the person.
Yes.
We may not have experienced it, or what we did experience, we were able to find alternate explanations for. That's it. That's all we're going to tell you. How you take that information, that's for you to do, and that's an individual thing, right?
Yeah.
And we'd never use any of that information to gain
No, we don't do.
Yeah.
anything for us,
no.
right? Like, we share it. That's pretty much it, right? Like, I don't have the time.
Yeah.
Well,
I
'cause
don't
we
have
kinda-
the-
we kind of geek. Yeah, we kind of geek out about it too. Like
Yeah.
like when we do get something, we want to share this because we're excited to see what interest this is going to generate. Right?
Yeah.
So that's really what it is. But
Yeah.
Are there any places that you haven't investigated yet that you really want to
Lots.
investigate? Yeah, there's like a
There's
list.
a list.
Lots.
There's a list. Like, and I shouldn't say, like, I've reached out to some of these places and
Yeah.
they just can't do it.
Okay.
Kingston Pen is a good example of that.
True,
I had
yeah.
to snail mail Corrections Canada because they do not have an email address.
Oh my gosh.
And I got a response back via email. But, they were like, we would love to have you. We know there's lots of crazy experiences. However, due to the 100-year rule, which is, it has to be 100 years since that inmate has passed before they can share anything. We just can't have you guys come here and do that.
Should we
right?
tell the Allison story at Kingston Pen?
Which one?
The one with the figure in the cell, and we found out
Oh.
whose cell that was.
Oh God.
So we go there for I think this was my birthday.
Guys,
Yeah,
yeah.
first your birthday. Yeah.
So we're doing
Plan me a birthday party.
we're doing a Kingston Pen tour, and again, it's
When's your birthday?
Christmas Eve.
Oh, see, we should do a Christmas paranormal.
A
thing.
Christmas special.
Yeah.
That'd be cool. So yes, we're at Kingston. We do the penitentiary tour, and I'd been to the pen lots of times for dropping people off,
Yeah.
mostly,
Real work.
interviewing people. One of the I'll get to this in a sec, but anyway, so we're doing the daytime tour there, and the tour is hosted by actual retired guards and employees of the penitentiary system. So you get a lot of history. It's really fascinating. Well, I
We
get
recommend it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Highly.
I haven't been. Yeah, I definitely
Go.
Go.
Yeah.
Take the
Okay.
extended tour.
For
It's
my
a-
birthday.
Yeah, it's incredible. So I'm talking to this retired guard, and we're just chatting. I tell him I was a retired cop, and I had done an interview years earlier. I was on a cold case homicide, and one of the case we had to look at, we literally had to reopen this case. It had happened 33 years earlier, and we had to track down hundreds of people around the world to basically exclude them. One of the persons we had to track down was a guy who was a double cop killer from 1974 on the East Coast. And my partner and I had to go out there and we interviewed him because he had a connection to the husband of the victim of our homicide. And it was, again, we just had to exclude him, go through the motions. And I get talking to this guard and say, hey, last time I was here was in this year and I had to deal with so-and-so. And he goes, well, that was his cell up there. And he points to the cell. And at the same time, unbeknownst to us, one of our
Yeah,
intuitives on the team,
Allison.
she's watching this figure step in and out of that cell.
No.
Yeah, she tells us after the fact. She has no
Yeah.
idea. She's no knowledge of this conversation because I'm
Yeah.
not part of the group right now. I'm back in the corner just chatting with a
Yeah.
security officer and catching up.
That was that the same tour where they chased you down to ask you what cologne
What
you were
cologne I
wearing?
was wearing?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that was weird. I got his business card. So, yeah, but it was an interesting connection because we got to see a place that I actually had a connection to an individual that was in that same cell that our colleague was down the hall in the range who's having this experience
Yeah.
with that cell. What that was, I don't know. It was an interesting connection, but it was a weird experience. Right?
So, and that's another thing too. So I've heard you guys say a few times now that sometimes you'll bring psychics or intuitives on investigations. So what are some I feel like those get really interesting.
They can.
Yeah.
They can. And then sometimes you look at them and go, you're
a fraud.
You're at
viewing whatever comes to you're cold reading the room is what you're doing.
Yeah.
Right?
You kind of have to have a bullshit meter. Basically
Literally.
on that.
Literally.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
there are times where we've seen someone go, Larry, Harry,
Barry.
and then someone go, oh, I had this. And then you
Jerry.
hear them go, literally. And then you hear them go, yeah, that's it. And then you're like,
Cross that name off the list.
We don't use them a
Yeah.
lot, especially really anymore. Those that
Yeah.
are we've like Rachel went through a process a year ago where we interviewed new team members, prospective team members, and one of them was a self-professed psychic, and sometimes they're just not a good fit, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we look at the psychic medium stuff as one, highly skeptical.
Yeah.
Like to me, I think a vast majority of that is just snake oil salesman. So that's really difficult to deal with. But we look at it when we do bring them out, it's just another investigative tool.
That's what I was going to say. It's
Right.
another
Yeah, it's a
tool,
tool-
that
tool
you
toolbox.
can use to measure.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the big thing
Yeah.
is we don't rely, everything we do and the observations we make, we don't rely heavily upon any one or two aspects, right? Like it's a collective.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
for us to have an impression ourselves, that we have a conclusion for ourselves that we think is right, we need a lot to
Yeah.
that.
And there are some teams out there here in Ontario, US, all over the place that will solely rely on what the psychic says. And
Yeah.
then they base
Really?
their entire investigation off of that. And if you're doing that, you're missing out on so much more.
Yeah.
But Allison and Jay on
And
our team and
Kaz.
Kaz, they have intuitive abilities.
And I'll test them.
Yeah,
right?
oh,
Like I'll-
There are things that my other half have said, and he's just like, what? Oh my, what?
Like-
right? Like,
Well,
I don't understand, right?
we had one who she's no longer with the team, but I'm going to tell the story. I won't use the name,
Yeah.
but the story of when they interviewed me, which was a weird feeling in itself because I'm usually the one doing the interrogation.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, there's like 8 of us.
So when I retired, I sent a message to Rachel expressing interest. She thought, I think her first impression was, who's this wingnut, right?
Literally.
And Allison was the one who said, no, it sounds like the real deal. Let's check them out, right? So I meet with pretty much the whole team, and some of their husbands showed up too, because like a bunch of girls sitting with a guy they don't know, I'd be showing up, you know? So it was an uncomfortable experience, but the psychic on the team, she wasn't really engaged in the conversation with me, but at one moment she interjects and she goes, who's Harry or Henry? And I'm not saying anything. This woman knows nothing about me, and less than 24 hours earlier is when I found out I was meeting them and where I was meeting. They know nothing about me. And I'm like, yeah, I know. I know that person. I don't
Yeah.
say what the name is. And she goes, yeah, he's not happy about the holes you put in your wall. This is where it gets weird. Her dead father's name is Henry.
Okay.
Went by Harry. Very, very strict man who, like everything had to be done his way. And less than 24 hours earlier, I had a work crew into his bedroom where he passed away to put holes in the wall, to
Yeah.
rewire the house so that we could put a TV in the room for Sheila. And he would have lost his mind
Yeah.
when we did that
Wow.
work. How could she know that information?
Well, he was just hovering around, I guess,
Literally.
You know?
and complaining to her.
So that
Prime
one,
opportunity.
like they didn't even know where I lived.
Yeah.
Like I literally got a message a day or two before saying, hey, meet us at this place in Bowmanville for your interview. And that was it. That was the extent of the communication. They didn't know where I was coming from. They didn't know anything about me. And she was very specific about the name and the event that it had occurred literally less than a day earlier.
Yep.
It was weird. I don't know how to explain that.
Yeah, it's weird when
Unless they were doing surveillance on me. I don't know.
Yeah. you sometimes you think with these TV shows that maybe they do like a huge background check, but it's just not feasible. It's not possible, right? Like to do that.
Yes and no.
It
Yes
is
and no. But you can cold read someone because you
Yeah.
can just be like, oh, I feel like a male presence around you.
Yeah.
Do you have any male family members that have died? And you can be
I'm
like,
feeling
yeah.
something in the
and then you're
chest
like,
and-
then you can be like, I
True.
feel like it was like a father figure. So either like a father, a grandfather,
An
an
uncle, a
uncle,
brother.
and you're like,
We all
oh, my
have that.
grandfather,
Yeah.
and you're like, oh, something from like the chest. Was he like, oh yeah, he died of a heart, like right?
Yeah,
like
you can
just,
really it's very vague
Oh,
and you
yeah,
can get
and you
on with
can-
it. Yeah.
right.
And I think the
Yeah.
other thing is the day of technology, like it's been great, it's advanced society and all that, but the con is we could put any one of our names in a computer right now in an open source search, and the amount
True.
of stuff we're going to find.
And like,
Yeah.
and you don't know what they've done previously. Like, there's no camera following them 24/7 beforehand, right?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
who's to say that they're like, okay, I know where we're going. Let me do a quick search and let me just like pinpoint a couple things, and then I'll just
Yeah.
go from there, right?
Yeah.
So,
but for that person to know though that you were doing those renovations in the house, putting holes in the wall, and that's something like,
Well, that's one, because like prior to that, actually, that's the one event that did move my needle on that specific aspect of this.
Yeah.
Because anytime I saw that, I thought it was all nonsense.
yeah,
Because again, I know that how easy it is to manipulate the information and that, stuff
Yeah.
like that, right? But for me to have that experience sitting across a table with this woman who just met me and doesn't know anything about me, but just gave me 2 specific pieces of information, could she have found out that your dad's name? Possibly. But there's no way she would have known. And I'm very secretive about our personal life. Like, you're not going to find a lot about me anywhere. So that piece was a little unnerving, right? Because she
Yeah.
was very specific. And it was very nonchalant. Like, she wasn't even part of the conversation. She actually interjected. you know,
there.
but she was so specific.
Yeah.
It moved my needle on that. Certainly on her. She has abilities.
Yeah.
There's no question. Now, how those abilities get used with people, that's a very different conversation, right?
Yeah.
But I think some people just have an empath, they're empaths. So they have an ability to read people, and I don't know how they do that.
it's just something that they have. It's a gift that some people get, and some of them use it badly, and some of them just don't use it. Just it's just something they have.
I think we all
Yeah.
have it to some degree, and we've all
Yeah.
probably experienced it, right? You
Not
walk
me.
into a room and your hair stands on the back of your
Yeah.
neck. Your body, something you've perceived subconsciously.
It's
is,
like an intuition,
Yeah.
like
Yes.
evolutionary something. There's something.
yeah, I think we all have it, and some people have just, for whatever reason, is able to recognize it and utilize
they're
it
more
more
in
than
tune.
the next, right?
Yeah.
I know when I worked as a cop, we used to call it the spidey senses.
Yeah.
I had an incident very early in my career where I responded to an alarm call at a school in Oshawa. Sure enough, the school had been broken into, and I'm in the ground level kind of basement. That was the one you worked at later on. Anyway, that's where I was. So I go in, and this old classroom has 2 different doors leading to the classroom. And I go to step in one, and for whatever reason, something tells me don't step in that one.
Yeah.
And I walk up to the other door, go in, and it's that point I realized that looking at the door I was just at, there's 4 closet doors, 3 are open, one's closed, there's a pair of shoes under, one's closed, and there's a guy drugged out with a knife in his hand behind that door. So what was that
Yeah.
that told me I didn't see those doors from the perspective of that first door I was going to enter? What
Yeah.
was that said, change your plans here, man?
Spidey sense,
It was
guardian
weird.
angel, anything. Could
So-
be anything.
So I think we all have
Yeah.
that. We've all had that experience where something intuitive,
Mm-hmm.
that's the right word you used, I think. And there's some people have a better ability to key
To
in
tap
that.
into it,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But again, the skeptic in me says the vast majority is nonsense. And even the ones that you think might be something, I still use that.
yeah.
I would
got
utilize that very sparingly, number one. I wouldn't
Yeah.
rely upon it. In fact, truth be told, it would be one of my least reliable pieces of information in that.
Yeah. But when you're using them in an investigation, you have multiple tools, and then it's kind of like they're almost
Mm-hmm.
verifying, like where that psychic said
Yeah.
that they saw someone coming in and out. Like, let's say in that instance, if you also had like a meter, an EMF meter in
Mm-hmm.
that room, and it was going off at the same time, it's like you're having multiple tools going off, right?
Yeah.
You're just using
Yeah.
them in a different way.
Oh yeah.
You know what I find some of the more reliable information is the subjective experiences.
Yeah.
Right? Like if you're telling me that you had this experience happen and 8 years down the road, another person or another 3 people are telling me the very same story and you guys, your paths never crossed.
Yeah.
That to me, there's a little bit more weight to that because all of you have had the very same or very similar experience that's independent of one another. But it's corroborative. Like
Yeah.
I don't know how to explain that away. So those subjective experiences, I think there is quite a bit of weight that can be held into,
Yeah.
with caveats, right? Like,
Yeah.
Like you were saying earlier, like there's all kinds of, and one of the reasons we don't do a lot of residential stuff. We do some, but we really, really vet
You have to.
how
Yeah.
we're going to do that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
We did one for a colleague of mine. It ended up being, we didn't know that.
Oh, okay.
Just This
I
you
wasn't
can't
a part of
take
the
you
team
can't
for
take
that
this
one,
guy
no.
anywhere. We found that out after a while. Everywhere we go, he knows
He
somebody.
knows somebody, yeah.
He knows somebody. So this is a private residence. So really, somebody bought a house
Okay.
out in the middle of Northumberland County.
Okay.
This is pretty much all we can say. It's an old farmhouse on an old, country road. They just bought it. Somebody had been living in it, but when they got it, it was a hoarding house.
Okay.
So it was just filled to the brim with God knows what.
Yeah.
They had it was it was a Sri Lankan family. It was, and they had this fence at the front, but it was only at the front. It didn't go down the sides, but it's all at the front. So we were like, okay, and it was brand new. So we're like, this is weird. Turns out that the this family, it was a man and a woman, and then I don't know if they had children or anything, but they had a mother-in-law living with, and she had like severe dementia and Alzheimer's.
Okay.
So I guess not knowing the system or not knowing how everything operates and with like resources and stuff here, they would just lock her in her room.
Oh my God.
And the padlock was on the outside.
Both 2 rooms on the second
Yeah,
floor.
and like they were saying how they were like when they would go into this place, they would always get these feelings and literally up on the second floor at this room, and like inside this room it was awful. There was like you could see handprints of like
Little
blood
person
and
handprints.
feces all over the walls,
Yeah.
and it was
Hundreds.
it was gross. It was bad. So that energy definitely like
Lingered.
imprinted,
Yeah.
for sure. But like we should have known when we showed up when the guy pulled a gigantic knife out of a dirt pile in the front of the house.
Oh my God.
That our night was going to be really weird. It was one of the locations where
We
we
got
were
chased
just
out.
like
No
at 10
way.
o'clock, like we were like, and we're done.
It
Goodbye,
was
house.
earlier
Thank
than
you.
that.
Yeah.
We
And
left
And
before
we
that.
left, right? Like
Yeah.
usually we're there till like midnight or stuff, but like this house, like at one point, like it felt like it was
Alive.
breathing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
breathing.
was-
That's the word. we
It
would
was
use.
Yeah.
it was definitely an experience. Like, would I go back? Yeah.
Yeah, like it was how we came to learn whose place it was the lady ended up being his wife.
Mm-hmm.
She came to meet us at the property, and we get talking, and finds out I'm a retired cop and where I was, and she's like, "Yeah, my husband's a police officer
A retired officer
officer as
from
well
the same
from
region.
place." I'm like, maybe I know him, and she says the name. Well, Jesus, we were platoon mates for a number
no
of
way.
years. Yeah.
And then he shows up.
So then he shows up,
Yeah.
and his wife and the girls are going through the place, and me and him are standing back, and he's like, "Listen, Wolfie, I'm not scared of much. Somebody could get killed in there. I'm not going back in that house." And he tells me the story of what he and his family members have experienced, all independent of each other. This is why they end up calling, is because they had all had independent experiences, and then they're like, "This is weird," so they reached out. We get in there, and it's got a weird vibe already, right? So you already know your head's going to play with you.
Yeah.
But we get up to the second floor, and the first thing that sees me, and I'm looking at this through the lens of a criminal lens. The first 2 bedrooms I come to have fresh padlocks on the outside of the doors. So now I'm thinking, okay, people are being forcibly confined. I step into the room on the one side, and there's got to be, without exaggeration, 300 to 500 handprints from floor to about 5 foot on every wall and door. There's scratch marks on the inside of the door. The handprints, if I had to have them analyzed, were probably as a result of every bodily fluid you can think of. Like, it was
Yeah, it was bad.
really, really disturbing. So that set the tone right off the bat.
I think it was probably one of the most disturbing
places
we've been in.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It
to
was
know
offside.
that.
A place like that needs to be bulldozed, like to reset.
I don't even. They
like-
were like that
Yeah.
place. It had only like when you looked at the place, they're like, yeah, someone lived in here like 6 months ago, and you're looking at it going, how?
Yeah.
Like the ceiling was missing, like the walls were falling. Like how?
But
Have
it was
they
just-
done anything to it
I
since
don't
then?
know.
Or?
So
you need to reach out.
yeah, but I probably shouldn't. I don't want to identify that person, so I don't want to say
Yeah.
too much of what, because I know
Yeah,
in
yeah.
my circle they're going to know exactly what I'm talking about.
Oh, yeah.
So I just want to.
You just reach out. Just reach out
Yeah.
afterwards.
I will. I will. But it
Get us back in. I
you know,
wanna
this
know.
this
I
is a
never
person
went.
that
Yeah,
I.
you
So now I want to go.
Yeah.
neither.
Now you need that
neither.
experience.
Kathy.
I told
Or
you about
Kaz.
this.
Oh, there you go.
Oh, we
or
got
Chantel.
Or Chantel.
I
Wow,
told you
yeah.
about this. It's bad.
Yeah.
And this is a guy who, like I said, I've done some interesting things with this guy. And for him to make the comment that, hey, somebody could be having their life taken and I'm not going in there to help,
Wow.
that's pretty significant.
Well, when
Like,
you say, "Hey, do you want to stay with us?" Like,
He's
we're
like,
gonna go,
"Absolutely not."
we're gonna go live at one point, and you don't have to
Yeah.
be on it, but you know, you want to stay with us? We're like, no, we'll just watch it live from home.
Yeah, we're out.
Okay, just
Yeah.
lock the door when you're done.
That was a bad place. That had some really negative energy.
Yeah.
And then it did. You said breathing. That's exactly how we described it that night. It felt like the house was, and at one point it was just like a switch. We're like, oh,
Yeah.
we're gone. And we
And
left.
again,
So
anybody can.
you guys just left. Like
yeah,
you ran
we were
out
just like,
basically. It was too much.
goodbye. And
Yeah.
we're like, we're locking the door.
We
and
didn't even get a
left.
chance to go through the entire place. Like
No.
we didn't get much beyond.
That
those
video's up
rooms.
on YouTube, so everyone can never watch it.
We'll have to
so.
watch it. Yeah.
That was a bad spot.
Yeah.
That was a really bad spot.
I want to go back.
So when you guys do your investigations, you edit it and you put it on YouTube.
I don't edit anything.
No, someone edits it.
I just
He
started,
just started.
doing this.
Yeah.
See, my thing with this is as real as you're going to get. I'm not
Yeah.
cutting or splicing. I'm not editing. Like what you see is what you get. This is
Yeah.
exactly how we are at investigating. This is exactly how it went down. You know, bad words and all. But this is how it is, right?
Yeah.
Because you can't get more real than that.
Yeah.
Because when you watch these shows, everyone expects, you know, you're going to get like instant like activity, like
Yeah.
boom, 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 right? And really when they have to remember when these TV shows and these YouTubers go to these locations, they're there for 8 hours. They might get 30 minutes
Yeah.
of footage, right? Like like that's why when they're like, this is night 2, and you're like, but you were just in night 1, like
Yeah.
all of that, they, you know, 45 minutes of footage is like 16 hours, right? And then they cut and splice and put all the interesting pieces together so it looks like it's flowing. But that's not how it works. How it works is you get to a location, you make a bunch of stupid jokes with your friends
Yeah.
and your teammates, and then
then
something
something
weird happens, and you're like, oh my God, and then you leave, right? Like
Yeah.
that's literally how it
Yeah, it's
is,
more raw,
right?
right? Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
so I'm not editing.
Yeah.
No.
Right. And when people are like, oh, that evidence you posted, you know, you've obviously, you know, put it together. It's like, listen, I just cut that 5 minutes out and put it into a little thing.
Yeah.
Right. Like I don't have time to fake this stuff. Like I'm too busy. I don't really even care to fake it.
Yeah.
Right. What you see is what you get. There is nothing different. Like this is who we are as people and as investigators, and this is our investigation.
See, it's like for Elizabeth and I, we've thankfully with the blessing of Rachel, we've kind of we're doing our own thing as well, where Rachel and her husband are joining us for what it's not so much the investigative piece for these clients. What we're trying to do is go out to these notorious locations around the U.S. and Canada, have our own experience, and then just post about it.
Yeah.
And so we've started that, and we've like literally, like I said earlier, we're dinosaurs. This social media world is really foreign to us, and it's intimidating for people that didn't grow up with this, right? So we have literally just started posting things. I posted something earlier this week from an investigation from last June that Liz and I did at Beck House. And it took me 3 weeks to put together what the end product was on YouTube. Is like 4 minutes and 33 seconds. And all it is really, it's 32 seconds of the audio that happens, the event. And then the rest of it is literally because for me, I can't shut off the investigative piece. I feel like I have to explain that.
Yeah.
So the rest of the 4 minutes is the explanation of
context.
what we
Yeah.
did
Yeah.
with that, and what conclusions we drew, and what limitations we have.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know how to negotiate it. We're not trying to do this to generate, although it would be great if we do generate.
If I could make a full-time wage doing what I do, I would never work.
Then you can do it more often,
Exactly.
right?
I would never work
Yeah.
where I work my real job. I'd never work there again, even though I do
my
like my
thing
job,
is, I'm
but-
trying to generate interest to see in like-minded people and hear these. Like I said, that's how I got that comment from this U.S. guy saying, "Hey, why don't you try these protocols?"
See, we're not in it
know.
for the likes or you
No.
know the comments.
You just
or
want to
stuff.
show
We're
people
just,
your experience.
exactly.
And
Because you
share
guys
it.
are investigating.
Yeah,
Right?
and if people have had the same, amazing. If we get a location out of it, you know, that's an amazing opportunity. We have been given as a team so many
yeah.
amazing opportunities that people will never see. Like having Fort Henry to ourselves to go pretty much anywhere and having like 3 rules for the entire night.
Yeah.
You can't even get that anymore,
Yeah.
right?
That's
Like
pretty cool.
It's amazing, like the opportunities that we've had. Black
Yeah, but
Creek
that's-
Pioneer Village. Yeah,
That's
like,
you've generated that. That's over 2 decades of the work you put
Exactly.
into this, and like I can't emphasize that enough. Coming into this, like I'm in my 4th year with Rachel, and the reality is the commitment you've made to this over the last 2 decades, and the way you've kept it authentic, that stands out. I'm not trying to criticize how other groups are doing it. Hey, they do their thing. That's cool if it works for them. But what you've done with it is what attracted me to it, and I think that by keeping it authentic, it makes it credible. And And I think that's the attraction right there, right? I mean, you're going to get that small subset of people that they just want to see the excitement, and whether you've exaggerated it or not, you're going to have that small group. But I think what we're trying to do is we're trying to get an engagement from a larger, more thoughtful group.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the same thing goes for other paranormal groups in, like, say, the area in Ontario, is because we've been around for so long, we've had locations say, you set the bar really high for, when we have other teams, inquire. And that's not us. Like, we're not intentionally going in there and being like, we're going to make it impossible.
Yeah.
That's the location's choice. If they want to choose to be like, this is where the bar is set, and if you can't meet this bar, we're not going to have you, right?
Okay. Yeah.
That is a location choice. That is not an us choice. We have never stopped any other teams from going in any locations. Yep. If the location says, nope, we've just had this team, we've just had, the Paranormal Seekers come in and we don't want any more, that's their choice, not an us choice.
Yeah.
Like, right?
The other piece too is the people we're doing the investigations with, we encourage them, hey, be with us, and this place that we were talking about earlier about the 5,500 thing, that's unfortunate. But when we did our first investigation there, place was crazy.
Yeah. It
but
was
we
worth
had two.
It totally was.
Yeah, but we had 2 employees that accompanied us with that investigation, and what was gleaned from that was enough that they wanted a second investigation where they had like their management. I think we had like over a dozen of them come out, high ups, come out for the night because they wanted to see it for themselves. And thankfully, that night was crazy too. And I think. That is, there's value to be gained that people see the process.
Yeah.
And it sucks if we go into a place and nothing happens and nothing happens for them.
It's going to happen though.
Yeah.
But that should be the expectation,
Yeah.
right? Like the expectation should be, we're going to go into these places and it's just going to be a cool building with nothing.
Yeah. Because when something does happen,
Yeah.
it's
That's
even
your
better.
aha.
Exactly. Exactly. Right. So.
Yeah. Well, you guys also have a podcast.
Yes.
And how often do you guys do that podcast?
So me and Kaz record it once a week, so it's weekly, and then we take some time off. Obviously, Christmas, summer.
Yeah.
But yeah, we post once a week.
And it's called Paranormal
Pair A.
I love
normal.
that.
It's good. It's
Listen, I
actually
had to be unique and Canadian, right?
Yes,
so I
yeah.
had to change an A to an A, right?
Yeah.
So yeah.
I saw your recent one. I think it was your most recent one. You guys were talking about cryptids
Yes.
and stuff. So I love that. And you were talking about Mothmen.
Yeah.
Have you had any experiences with cryptids in general?
I
or-
don't know.
Just the place that shall not be named.
Yeah,
we saw
that
something in the
was
woods.
there was a bit of a
That's the one time.
Wendigo
No way.
possibility.
We don't know what it was we saw.
Yeah.
So we are like for our business, we fly drones. Like that's part of
Yeah.
it. And there's like a enterprise version of the drone that we have that has like, it's decked out for this. Like it's meant more, it's called the DJI Matrice. It's more for like inspecting like legit like buildings and stuff like that. But it has infrared. It has everything you would need to freaking find Bigfoot. I swear.
I just had this conversation with Liz this week and say, listen, because she has to put up with me. That's what it is, right? But I said to her like 2 days ago, I said, I think I'm going to start a new one called Wolfie's Cryptid Phenomena. I'm just going to go out and do my own thing, right?
Yeah.
And check it out. She's like, yeah, you go do it. Like, have fun.
But then you're dealing with something physical, right?
And you don't even know half the time anyways.
Yeah.
But a lot of cryptid stories, and the same with like monsters and stuff, is all based on legend.
Yeah.
And a lot of it, if you were listening to like what Kaz was saying in our podcast, was that a lot of it is meant to scare children into behaving
away from the woods, too, and
behaving
yeah.
properly, right? Like don't go out there. Something's gonna get you.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but at 6, if my mom told me that, I'd be like, I'm not going in the bush.
Yeah, mission accomplished.
Yeah, mission accomplished.
Done. In fact,
At
that's the
10,
only way
I
you
would
get
have
me
been
to
like,
listen.
I'm in the bush, but at 6, I would have been like, no.
Yeah.
But they definitely do exist.
Yeah.
There is definitely more out there than what we can physically see and understand. It's just like
For sure.
it's just like going into the depths of the ocean. Nobody knows what's down there, but I bet you it's terrifying.
Yeah.
And the way I rationalize that belief that there's these things exist is how every year how many new thousands of species of life are discovered that we didn't previously know,
Or something that all of a sudden comes back.
Or
Yeah,
there's
true.
that
Right?
too.
Where
It's like,
they're
we haven't seen this in like 1,000 years or
Yeah.
whatever, and then here we go. There it is. Yeah.
Like 90% of the Canadian population lives within 500 kilometers of the U.S. border, which means all that other stuff has nobody in it.
Northern Ontario, like a place to go. Like there's this one TikToker. I don't know his name. I'll find him and I'll pop it up on the edit after. But he's like up in the north and I think he was in the military at one point. Anyway, so he'll sit around. He'll do his TikTok videos in front of like a fire and he'll tell like stories.
Oh,
right?
I've seen this guy.
Yes,
I know who
yes.
you're talking
I was
about.
gonna say, he
I
probably
want to
does.
say his name is Canadian North Matt
Yes.
or something like that. But
Yep.
I'll find the exact name. Anyways, and he talks about how there's people that live in these forests. Like
Yeah.
if you go 100 miles on a logging road in the middle of the forest,
Oh, yeah.
up by I don't know where, like north of Timmins for
Yeah,
sure,
yeah.
right? There's people living in there.
My
Right?
parents, the
Oh, yeah.
last
Off-grid.
25 kilometers to their place, they're up 400, 500 kilometers north of here.
Yeah.
And their last 25 kilometers are on a one-lane dirt road that gets washed out.
One way in, one way out.
Yeah. I think that's what, like, if I were to go investigating, like, for these cryptids, that's what I'd be worried about more than the cryptids.
Yeah.
Is these,
Yeah.
I think they call them wild men kind of thing,
Yeah.
right? Like,
Well, the living is more
Yeah.
scarier than the dead.
for sure.
Yes.
Or
Yeah.
cryptids, really, in all honesty, because I think
Yeah.
Bigfoot's more terrified of us than anything.
Yeah.
Listen, I'm more terrified of us than anything.
Yeah.
I think there's no question though that there's stuff out there. Again, it kind of goes hand in hand in some way with the paranormal theories. That, like, there's just stuff that we're not meant to understand yet, or we don't have the tools to understand yet.
Yeah.
Or the
And,
government doesn't want
know,
us to understand
That too.
I had this conversation with our son earlier. He's 20 years old, good kid, smart kid, a lot brighter than his dad ever was. I won't tell him that, so can't share
Gonna
this
know
with him.
now.
Yeah. He'll know now.
You know,
Yeah.
But we were having this conversation. He's very myopic, and his young people are, right?
Yeah.
They have their beliefs this way, and until you experience life, your beliefs are your beliefs. And I tried to explain to him this weekend, the absence of evidence is not evidence of absence, right? Really, just because you don't see it doesn't mean it doesn't exist.
Yeah.
Right. Like it's that simple. So let's try to chase what this might be,
Yeah.
and where the chips fall, we explain it.
Well, I love it. I think that's a good spot to leave it at. And wow, we talked.
I know
that
we
was a
did.
good,
I
that was
was
a good
saying.
conversation. No, I love it.
Yeah, I enjoyed this.
Yeah.
We could keep talking
I
because there's
know.
tons of stories.
There's
so much.
so much. We'll have to do a round two.
Yeah.
Honestly,
Oh,
like
that would be good.
Yeah, we should. We can make it like a recurring
You know what we should do then
Yeah.
is we
Yeah.
should get down to like Villisca or someplace like that so we can talk about those stories.
oh,
So Villisca, that name sounds familiar. I've heard it on paranormal TV shows
Yeah.
for
Yep.
sure. What is it though?
the
'Cause I
Axe
forget.
Murder House. So it's
Yes,
a house.
that's
Yeah.
okay.
So it's a house where, what, 8 people?
Yeah, 6 kids and 2 adults.
Yeah. So 8 people were brutally murdered in their sleep. 6 from a whole family and 2 visiting children, like neighbor children, on a sleepover.
Yeah.
And they just don't. They kind of know who
They
did it,
charged
but they
the guy
don't
who
know who
admitted
did
to
it.
it, and
yeah,
then
but they're
Yeah,
still
they quit
like
it.
yeah.
Yeah. So it's one of those places.
it's a weird place, but that's the place on our
on a
bucket
bucket
Your
list,
list
so to
that you need to
speak.
go to. There's a lot in the States. I feel Canada
Yeah.
has its fair share, but there's America.
The
has
states,
much
the states are
there's
the
so
states
much
are more
Yeah.
open to it.
Yeah.
Up here, they're
Yeah.
like, but you know
You know,
what?
the sad thing
Yeah.
is that the irony is these places are missing an opportunity. If their goal, like in a lot of instances, if their goal is revenue generation, this is a great genre that you're going to
Yeah.
create a tourism
Yeah.
industry for.
For
and
sure.
and
Right.
and being haunted is no longer taboo. It's
No.
you know it can be very profitable if you use it correctly and you
Yeah.
use it right.
Yeah.
And they got to realize that Hollywood's done a great job to say, hey, being haunted, having ghosts is evil, but it's
Yeah.
not.
No.
It's not.
Next to none of it is.
None of it.
We're going to Vegas in April, and I really want to go to the Zach Bagans
Ah.
Haunted Museum. But then I'm like, I don't
Kaz
know.
has been.
Yeah, like
She has
people,
been.
some
Yes.
people pass out in there, and I don't
See,
know.
and
if
I think a
want-
lot of that
yeah.
too is
It's maybe that's
she's
just
told
hype.
me, she's
Yeah.
told me that when they go in, they kind of hype you up, and then of
Yeah.
course people are
Who
it's
have
dark.
anxiety, heavy anxiety already. and
It's
then-
dark.
yeah.
There's serial killer stuff in there. Like your brain starts going.
They
and
probably
then you're-
pump less oxygen in there too.
more. You know what? I wouldn't put it past.
It
them.
is Vegas. Apparently, casinos do pump oxygen in, so I'm sure the
Yes.
reverse mechanism.
And I think
there is
there's,
not
and I
hard
think in
either.
some portions of that museum they do have people that like jump scare you and
Yeah,
stuff
I don't
like
like
that
that
too.
crap.
I
That's
believe like
that's-
it's kind of
yeah.
like in there.
Yeah. Definitely really cool relics
yeah.
in there though to see. Like I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure he has the mirror man that played Dracula. I forget his name. The mirror that he looked in.
Yeah, they got Kevorkian's van.
Yeah, they've got the van.
Ed Gein's
Oh my
Cauldron.
God, he's got Waco's car. I don't know if he's
Yeah.
got that or the guy from what's his name?
He's got some
name?
serial killers' ashes now.
Yeah. So maybe we'll go.
If this kind of tourism interests you, check
Yeah.
out, and you're looking at travel places, Charleston, South Carolina.
Oh, Charleston was phenomenal.
Oh yeah.
Oh, it's creepy as
Yeah,
hell.
because of
No, you
like,
guys
the-
went. Kaz went.
Yeah,
It's weird.
because of the Civil War, like all the stuff.
Well, actually,
like,
even it
yeah.
predates, like that city predates the Civil War. This stuff. It's
Yeah.
got some really dark history.
First
whole
female
city.
serial killer.
Was executed there.
Yep.
Oh,
And caught there. But yeah, like I think it's unfortunate because you and I have talked about this a lot. There's dozens of places within a 3-4 hour drive of our house,
Yeah.
but we just got to cross the
You just
border.
go across
Yeah.
border.
There's lots of places up here that could have that potential, but there's just very, very few willing
Yeah,
to.
they just don't want
Weird.
it, or they want a lot of money.
Well, I think
Yeah.
a lot of these places place the price on it as high as they do to try to inhibit any activity, right?
yeah.
That's true.
It's weird. Like we've even had governmental organizations reach out. We never went through with that one, but
Yeah.
reach out to say, hey, listen, our employees are having some weird experiences.
Yeah.
We want, like some of these investigations are take on some pretty significant roles behind the scenes. And then when we do find stuff or whatever the investigation gleans, we've had these places say, listen, you can't release any of it. In fact, you can't even talk about ever being here.
Yeah.
So we're in that, we have that dilemma.
Sucks.
Like some of our best places
Yeah.
we have gag orders.
Oh
Yeah.
wow, top
So
secret.
it is what it
Literally.
is.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Like, it's neat though.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it does show that people are, it's becoming more mainstream.
Yeah.
Anyway,
it
I should
is.
shut up now.
No,
sure,
I,
for sure.
I definitely in the past it was more hokey pokey, and
Yeah.
now people are more open to it, which is nice. So you no longer have to be crazy to believe in this stuff. Everyone's had their experiences,
And I've never hidden
Yeah.
it.
yeah,
No.
People
Yeah.
have always asked. Even at my work, my one employee, you got any hocus pocus this weekend? yes, I do. Okay, have fun. That's literally it.
well, where can we follow you?
So we are pretty much on every social media platform, but
Yeah.
we mostly do Instagram and Facebook. So you just look up the Paranormal Seekers.
Yeah.
We're on there. YouTube, we're on as well. You can find us on TikTok, but I rarely post because I keep forgetting I have
Yeah.
it.
Do you have any events coming up?
We have a birthday event coming up.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
for
got-
us,
one.
but
Yeah.
Nice.
we have events planned. No details are ironed out just yet. We do have some dates for some. They're all located on our website event page.
Okay.
So people can go on and write down like the potential dates that we have, but there are public investigations coming up. There are possibly a paranormal camp out that we're doing that we have to put together. And then presentations and stuff. But
I think it's a great way for the regular, like the public, to get involved.
Exactly,
that
and that's-
might not
and that's
have
we-
tools, and
that's
things
why
like
we do
that.
it. And
Yeah.
like I said, we're not the type of team that says follow us and watch
Yeah.
us do it. We will hand you that K2 meter
Love it.
and say, here you go.
We'll do your investigation.
Let us know.
We'll have to join you guys on a public investigation.
Yeah.
This is I'd love to. So thank you guys so much for
welcome.
coming
Thank
on
you.
the
Thanks
show.
for having
and
us.
This was so great.
Yeah, round
Thank
two.
you.
Coming
Yeah,
soon.
we'll do it. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
You.
Thank you guys.